Yep.
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 It's heroic, gallant even. Cheese wants to be swept off its feet by you. Only question is, pickle in or out?
It's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Mike's on.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, not in the manner we imagined, but we are back nonetheless. Crowdless here at Jubilee Park for the Parker Cup between Ringwood and Heathmont. But luckily, you've got us here to bring all the action. Matthew Fodia here with Wayne Brasher and Gavin Casey. Gents, short little hiatus, but we're back 3 weeks off.
Yes, Matty, and great to have be back again with yourself and Gav and the calling team. Just before we do the rest of the introductions, Matt, I'd like to just quickly say, right, there are a lot of clubs out there, right throughout, not only EFNL, but throughout local football in Victoria that are starting up today. Many of them are probably not going to be getting the revenue that they were hoping. But look, to all those clubs out there, and look, keep your head up. I'm sure you'll get a financial karma somewhere back down the line, but kudos to you all and to all the players that are playing this afternoon for bringing back the game of local football, because without those people involved, we don't have a product to call.
Exactly right, and I think we're saying it, but most of them have been playing for free. We hope so. And Gavin Casey, welcome back. It's been a longer hiatus for you, man. You've been a busy man.
Yeah, it's good to be back. I think a lot of people are busy in their jobs. We're doing it a little bit more after the last year. Everything has been scaled back, and it seems like we're working hard. Jobs that we're in.
Yeah.
But it's good to appreciate things when you can get away from the break. For the first few days, I was glad for a break, to be honest. when it went for 2 weeks, I was like, let's get back.
It's almost like you need a holiday. It's almost like you need a holiday away from the COVID, don't you?
Exactly.
COVID spell.
Well, hopefully that's
a thing of the
sooner
past
rather than later. Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely. So good news so far. Like I said, it's a picturesque day out here at Jubilee Park. The ground is in great condition. There's a spattering of people, as is allowed, with the parents and guardians and the volunteers and the players, and we're excited for this game between first and third. But before we jump into all that, I guess I'll explain the season changes.
Yes.
Of course. So we had the 2 weeks off. When it was initially 1 week, we actually, I think, said we were going to abandon the round, but after some thinking, the people above me in the food chain have decided to make sure we honour the home and away season. So what's going to happen is Balwyn and Noble Park and Doncaster East, which were the Queen's birthday fixtures, they've been moved back to their original rounds. So the Bulls and the Tigers will play today at Cherry Road, and Doncaster East will play next week at Shrams Reserve. Which will be round 10 in Premier Division. And then across the division, so Premier Division, which missed round 7 and round 8, will now be played after round 18. And that in Division 1 and 3, rounds 8 and 9 will be played after round 18. Division 2 is only going to have one round replayed, and I believe that's just for staggering of grand finals, so we don't have two grand finals on the same day, which I'm sure we'll be happy about. So only round 8 will be replayed or played, and then Division 4 will have round 7 played after round 16. So again, only the one round there, so that the grand finals aren't on the same day with the fixturing. And then finals will now be straight knockouts, so 1v4, 2v3, which adds a bit of extra spice to it, Gav. It will be interesting. Can we remember when, in living memory for you gents, can you remember a 1v4, 2v3 finals? Or
No.
No.
Not
for a long while.
Not in genuine semi-professional competition.
No.
Not for a long while.
And if it did, it would have gone way back to about the 80s or 90s.
Well,
mate.
I was on the Eastern FM morning sports show with the gents in there, and they said the 60s and 70s was the last time I was around it. But I know local cricket competitions kept it until 2-3 years ago, which was interesting enough, but that just shows cricket's a bit behind the times.
There's 2 points with that. If you're repeating 7 in round 8, that's close to round 16, 17 fixtures.
No, well, in fact, in Premier Division and Division 1, you will play the same fortnight twice. The 1 month if you're playing the same team.
So that's going to be interesting. Also, there is a fifth team, be it Berwick or Noble Park or someone in Division.
Double buys.
And they're also going to potentially miss a finals that they could have got. In Norwood, if South Croydon and Vermont's form holds up, it means that one good side's missing out in the division final spot.
Yeah.
So that's that's a punishment of circumstances, which they can't avoid. That's a pity.
Yeah, I think all clubs are on board with it. But yeah, I think they understand that. The club I think it probably hurts the most is Blackburn, because they were just sort of cruising and aiming for the lower ranks of the 5 and then do their thing from there. But now there's a bit of pressure on. And you're right, though, it means Baldwin's and Berwick's equation of trying to squeeze in is being made harder. And then in Division 1, Monty South, who were still a sniff. And even Montrose, Moorabah and Mitcham all on 4 wins. Now only one of them can make it rather than 2. But the rationale behind the thing was, the decision, not the thing, was that honouring the home and away fixture was the most important thing, given there's, for example, in Division 1, 2 sides are being relegated at the end of the season. In Premier, there's 4 sides on 1 win at the moment. I know in Division 3, for example, Fair Park are only 1 game behind Whitehorse, and even in this division, Division 2, Templestowe were 1 game behind, despite looking clearly last. But I don't think there's relegation in Division 2 anyway. But you know what I mean? The race because there's so much restructuring happening next year, we don't want the wrong clubs being in the wrong divisions because we didn't honour the rounds. And to be fair, you wouldn't want let's say, a Rowville going down because they didn't get to play Doncaster and North Ringwood, which I know they're playing North Ringwood today. So,
but I also think too, and that is a good call too, because it actually gives, with the EFNL doing that, Matt, it gives those home and away clubs to get some much needed revenue as well.
And I just want to make one point that might not be relevant to our competition. We talk about the EFNL, but other competitions, clubs would be probably applying for which division they probably could fit into for financial reasons.
Undoubtedly.
There would be clubs dropping up and down because of the mix of how clubs are going. But I don't think it's happening in our league, that sort of sense that some clubs are in trouble as
but I think everyone's pretty good, other than maybe a couple of sides who are not going anywhere from where they are.
But I think it actually comes down to the fact that the executives of each association, Gav, if they don't know their competition by now, they never will. If they don't know the semantics about how each of their premier clubs they're run, which clubs are the strength, are the clubs, that are the good clubs, and which are the ones that are struggling. If they don't know that by now, they never will.
Well, I think the top 12 clubs to 24 clubs have got a well run and know how to make a contingency. And they've been doing it for 2 years now. Probably, as Matt just said, there's probably clubs down the other end that probably will find their level, and it'll just be something they'll have to deal with and try to regrow once they stabilise.
Well, the 5 divisions was quite controversial when it was initially brought in, but I think it's worked, other than this year's been a bit hard, but that happens with cycles. There's always going to be a team that drops off the face of the earth, no matter how many divisions you've got.
And the thing is too, Matt, and you're right, because keeping in its perspective, I look at most of the lower divisions in most of our metro comps, and all in those lower grades, Gav, you're seeing big scores as well. I know. Yeah. There was I think Moonee Valley, in their last game before they went into hiatus, they kicked 52 goals, and then the second, third division of Essendon district. So I mean, clubs will sort themselves out, and look, and I guess it also comes down to, Matt, how strong, right, the actual competition financially is as well.
I'm not privy to all that stuff, but so the reason behind it was in juniors is to maximise participation, and then in seniors it's probably the same thing. People still love playing footy. A large percentage of players will play their subs, not maybe the top 22 each week, but your blokes in the reserves and 19s will pay to play footy, and they want to play as much footy as possible. And I think clubs are, and again, we might have a smaller final series in the top 2 divisions and shorter length of final series in the others, but you'd rather play all 18 and actually get the right teams in finals, rather than have a top 6 or 5, let's say, and a side gets in because they miss playing a couple of good teams and gets a lesson in the first week.
At the end of the day, Matt, the integrity of the competition has to come first.
Exactly. And the benefit is we're back playing footy, and we want to play as much as possible. Before we jump into things, a couple of player milestones that I've seen across, flicking through my phone and so on. Mitchell Potts has played he's playing his 150th game for Glen Waverley, which is quite the effort for the tall midfielder. And Tim Burmeister today will play his 200th Ringwood game. And I read on there a little blurb about Tim. He actually came to the club in '98 as a junior and joined the 18s in 2004, and so it's been quite a while, and took a few years off footy, and he's come back and will be playing his 200th today. So it's quite a long time to be at a footy club. Yeah,
and the Burmeister name has been synonymous with Ringwood Football Club for a long time, Matt. because his brother Patrick plays here as well.
Exactly.
When did they win their last premiership?
Ringwood. Oh.
Well, they should have won one in the last. They should have won one in the last 4 years.
More about that. But just trying to think actually when they were dropping down.
I will try and find that for you as we go on. But let's look at some of the fixtures in today. In Premier Division, we'll start there. The big one is Vermont and South Croydon. It's the number two, the top two attacking sides in the competition, and they're also the top two intercept marking sides. So strong at either end of the ground. A couple of notes I've got here is no Mitch Mallis for Vermont. He's debuting for Williamstown, I believe, which is very good for the Eastern Rangers best and fairest winner from a couple of years back. Lockie Johns is having a career best year. He's averaging 30 touches and he's hitting the scoreboard. He's their leading goal kicker with 11 from midfield. And then for the Dogs, they just seem to be covering all the bases at the moment. There's no real far out like standout play. Nick Evans is having a good year, but they've got depth across the board, and they've found a goal kicker in James Wilson.
They were pretty impressive against Blackburn on that game. They were very solid and right across the lines, and they play a really, really good brand of football, South Croydon, and the fact, Matt, that they've probably got one of the more experienced squads in Premier Grade, which is really setting them in good stead at the moment.
I think that'll be the difference today, Gav. Brash was at Vermont's last game against North Ringwood. They're very young across the board. I think South Croydon are actually just, the pandemic caused a lot of things to happen, but it's actually, in terms of Vermont, have gotten younger, and South Croydon are in that sweet spot. And I think today, for the first time in this little rivalry for the last 4 or 5 years, they're actually the favourites.
They are, and look, to be honest with you, Matt, knowing what the injury list that Vermont have at the moment, and the fact that the young players that they've brought into the side are exceptional, I just think today it might just come down to the fact that I think the bigger bodies of South Croydon, I think, might get the points, and that's, I got to call that as I see it, and I just think that I think South Croydon, it's their game today, I reckon.
Gav?
I just wonder how a 3-week break influences youth. Match practice. Well,
it's going to be interesting here too. That's what I wrote in the weekend preview that I had these two games in our little schedule. So Vermont, South Croydon, and Ringwood, Heathmont, and I think it's a battle between what's better after the break? Is it the youthful exuberance of just being able to run out there and not think about things? Like you got no worries when you're 20, you run around, you chase the footy, you do as you're told, or is it the other way when you're a bit older and you know how to manage your body, you're doing the right things, you know not to go too hard, you know not to run out of gas.
I think it's that one, because if we take some evidence out of Vermont losing round one, I just think when they find touch as a group, they get better. Generally speaking anyway, sometimes they go from winning games to 10 goals better than the opposition. So Vermont seems like a club that just runs themselves into form.
They do. They do gently build over the season, and I just, like I said, when you look at their makeup at the moment, Gav, there is an emphasis on the youth coming through the club to cover the injuries at the moment. But I guess at this particular stage, I just feel that they, whilst they're ready to mature, they're maturing. I just think some of the bigger bodies of an experienced playing group that haven't might just that will probably be the difference today, I think.
Can I ask one question before we move on? I read your halfway report on South Croydon, but why is South Croydon Blackburn not the best side at the moment? What's happening with Blackburn, and why was South Croydon better than them?
Well, I think Blackburn's style, they played a very chip mark game. I don't know if this is what you remember, Brash, but being on the boundary that day, they seemed to play chip mark, control the ball, and then if you look at the stats, I think they're the only Noah Parks had more disposals than them. So they like to get their hands on the footy, and South Croydon play that full press. They tackle so much. The number one tackling side, very frantic, and then they intercept mark well, and Moreton Park's I think a horrible ground to play a possession style because it's so thin. If Blackburn were playing out here, they'd be fine. There's space for them to do that. So I think Blackburn were playing a style that they thought would win finals, and we're figuring that they'll win enough games in the home and away. So that's why the top four is a bit of a spanner in the works for them, because they might have to go, actually, we just need to win games.
Yeah.
And then, so I think that's personally what I thought. I don't think it was Blackburn's. They're also missing Hammond, so they only have one forward.
That's right. And the thing is, Hammond is a very mobile forward.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's very fluid, right, because he's prepared to take his player to the contest and use his...
Because Bathy and Hammond is different to just Bathy. And like Arangio was playing...
out of position.
Yeah, he actually looked quite good, but I think he's more of a natural backman. I read a player profile they did, Blackburn, and he actually said he likes playing half back.
And so, I think too.
So to play as the second prong.
And you're right. Now that now that the competition has gone down to only 4 teams playing, there's going to be a lot more emphasis exactly on what.
Well, they can't afford to drop. They're going to have to start beating those top sides, which they haven't done so far. So I think. Yeah, I think that was the thing. Blackburn were playing the long game, a bit like Geelong have been doing in the AFL. They're building into it, as you said, Gav, about Vermont. They're building into it. And they were playing kick catch, and South Croydon were playing tackle, harass, get it inside forward 50, and they've got James Wilson at the moment, who's doing very well. So that's my read on them. But I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. I'm tipping South Croydon in this one.
So am I.
They've done it there before. I think we were there a couple of years back when they knocked off Vermont at Vermont. Vermont went on to win the flag. So good signs for both sides. The other games, we'll go through them very quickly. Balwyn and Noble Park. I've got Noble Park. One, because the away side always seems to win these games. And two, Noble Park, they're flying.
Can I just make a quick comment? We went to Berwick versus Noble Park round 1, and I assumed that they were both mid-table. But I now retrospectively look back at it and say that was such an awesome tackling game, and the pressure around the contest. They've spooked, obviously, sides since they've met them in the ferocity around the contest. And Noble Park, I would have thought they would have beaten Berwick if they could be more clean in their possession. But Berwick were just so ferocious with tuck that they kept getting it forward. So that game has now changed in my mind to say that I'm now upgrading both of them, and I think Noble Park's ability around the contest.
Well, they've got the best midfield, like Sketcher, Martin. They've got other names like Tom Glenn sort of playing an outside role, and then when they have their VFL players back, it's the best. And their defence, no one scores against them. The highest score this year was Vermont's 60.
Yep.
And Vermont won 60-40. So, which again, it's like Steve, you said they were going to be good defensively, and they are. And as you said, at the time we thought that was 7th and 8th playing each other, and it was a good game. And in the end, it might have been 3rd playing 6th, and it was a good game.
And I also think, I think for mine, I think the fact that Noble Park's defence is very well organised.
Yep.
I think that is going to be the difference this afternoon. Balwyn
small ground too, so if you can set up defensively on those small grounds, like we said with Morton Park, it's hard for, even though Jordan Lyle is the dominant forward in the comp on his day, it's still hard to beat a well-structured defence.
Is it too early to say it's a must-win for Balwyn? Because if they get behind on the ledger far back...
It was must-win before the top 5 went to top 4, and now it's must winner. It's a double must win.
And that's the problem with Balwyn's form so far this season. They've looked really good in patches in quarters, but they're not putting it together in some games for 4 quarters. So their form is very spasmodic at best.
Spasmodic?
Yep.
Well done. So I'm going Noble Park.
So might.
Yep.
Yeah, Doncaster Norwood. Doncaster got some players back and knocked off an injury-riddled Berwick before our little break, and continued to get some players back. Anarchus had 16 touches and a couple of goals and was in good form. Vickers is playing well. Stackelberg, Jake Spencer's dominating in the ruck. So that on paper they've got a fairly good list. Doncaster. It's the depth that worries me. And Norwood, on the other hand, they've had a pretty cruisy draw. They've only played Noble Park from the top 5. Or top 4 now, and lost in the last quarter, 6-0. And then outside of that, they've beaten Balwyn and they've pumped the other sides that are in the bottom rung. So Norwood, what's interesting for Norwood is I think they had Vermont and Blackburn in the 2 weeks we missed. So that means their last month is going to be Vermont, Blackburn. Yeah. So if they make finals, they'll have deserved it.
I think the other thing too with this game, with Doncaster, and like you said, Matt, players players were just coming back right on the verge, and then they went down for another 2 weeks. So that momentum with those players coming back into that squad, like your Anarchises and that, they really needed that continuity.
It'll be interesting whether they were angry because their momentum was drained, or whether they're happy because it gave blokes that might have been rushing another couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it's the old glass half full on this occasion. I'm thinking that...
Danger game for the Wooders, Brash.
It is a danger game, but I still think there's enough in the shed there at Norwood to get the job done.
They should win it. I'm tipping them, Gav.
I'll tip them. I'll just say that Doncaster now are trying to sustain their place in the league. And I like them as a club. They don't have enough depth of midfielders, and that's what exposes them trying to kick a score, because going inside 50, it's the only thing that cost them against Donny East from being close for 4 quarters, is their ability to go inside forward and find a target. They know how to... They do a lot of things right. They're not quite there. At least they're competitive again.
And Spencer's very good in ruck.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
And on EFNL Sunday, after that win, Stewie Kemperman actually said that they haven't been able to train on the Shrams for the last 5 or so years because of the lack of lights. So they've trained on the bottom ground, which is substantially smaller, done all their... So he goes, you try to set... He cannot believe that Andrew Tranquilli got them to 3 finals. Because you do all your structures on this bottom tiny ground, and then on the weekend you've got to play on Shrams, which is quite wide. It'd be like Ringwood training on the top oval up here, doing all their setups, and then coming down and being like, oh, there's an extra 100 metres of space.
And they play in a ground where there's a dead scoring zone.
There is. Just like there is here, but we're going to talk about that. We've got to go to a break quickly. Yep. Just a couple more tips. Berwick and Doncaster East. Berwick at home for mine.
Yep.
Brash?
No, Doncaster
East. And Rowville North Ringwood out at Seabeck. I've got Rowville, but I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I might go with North Ringwood in this game.
There you go.
I agree.
Ray Baird, if you're listening.
Yeah, just the tease, Ray. We'll go North Ringwood.
Okay, we're going to go to our first break on the other, and then on the other side of this, we'll look at Division 1 and Division 3. And just quickly before we go, Gav, Ringwood's last premiership, 2005.
All right, just missed that.
We'll see you on the other side of this break.
And you're clear. We've got 4 minutes.
53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funerals' Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet. Pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate, complete offset on fixed and variable loans, and a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding.
Yeah, that's right.
At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred 45 in Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. You beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Here we go, putting your mics back on.
Your footy.
Jubilee Park, ladies and gentlemen, and it's for the Parker Cup. Number 2 for 2021. I think there's 3 editions of it. It's Heathmont 1, Ringwood 0 at the moment on the overall score sheet and currently in the reserves. Third quarter, it's a inaccurate Ringwood, 3-9-27, trailing Heathmont 5-4-34. Pre-game show here. Eerie feeling. There's a spattering of people here, Brash and Gab, but as it looks like the majority of the population, as they've done for the last 2 years, is doing last year and a half, is doing the right thing.
Melbourne are doing their best.
Exactly right. And Melbourne Demons are doing their best to bottle it, but we'll get onto that at a later date. Division 1 footy, Croydon and East Ringwood is another big game. And back in round 1, Brash, we all said Croydon, or the 3 of us, I think it was myself, you and Damo, all said Croydon were going to win the flag. And I'm still standing by them. Although I might have changed to East Ringwood on the podcast. I do what I want. I still think their best footy is the best footy in the competition. But East Ringwood are sliding under the radar purely because of Croydon and Park Orchards and Mooroolbark all being a bit more free-flowing and having these, fantastic wins, whereas East Ringwood just keep winning. But they did have a big one before lockdown. They beat Lurdale by 150 plus, I think. That's 166 to 20.
That's the statement game for East Ringwood this year. That, to me, solidifies their credentials as being one. They're heading for a top 1 to 4 finish.
Yeah, East
comprehensively.
East Ringwood will definitely make finals. James Beelow's kicked 13 goals. He's a star of that division. And I think they've just got so much depth now. He's actually playing a lot of forward. If you think about Isaac Heaney for the Swans, now that the Swans have midfield depth, can play as a forward. Beelow might fit in that category. And then a good news story, Sahaf Ali. I think he's only 17 years old. He's played 6 senior games this year for East Ringwood. He's debuting for the Eastern Rangers today off the back of his performances with the Roos. I think Sudanese heritage. I'm not sure about the actual backstory. Plan to speak to him during the week, Sahaf. But good luck to him, and I think Nick Watson as well from East Ringwood making their Eastern Rangers debuts today. Gents, your read on the Blues and the Roos.
Gav, you want to go first?
I like how East Ringwood are building a side through defence. It's when you've got a young group, even when in their worst of times, they're hard to score against. There's one thing you can learn, because you can always kick a football and practice that, but as a team, once you grasp the...
Well, all coaches don't always talk about Paul Roos used to say it. He went defence first, and even if you look at Noble Park, Steve Hughes has gone defence first. So and I don't know whether Ben Osborne had that in his head, but you're right. It's harder to learn defence than it is attack.
Because you can always... you can hold the game up when you've got a lead, or you play in tough. You can shut it down, get numbers to the contest. You've got to learn how to not let your teammates down defensively by playing to a structure, and that takes a lot of courage and energy, and I think they're finally grasping that as a young group. So that's good for them, and I think that'll hold them in good stead come finals time.
No sides going up in Division 1 this year to Premier, but would you like to see East Ringwood up there soon, Brash?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
I would, because look, up until their lean period, they were a Premier Division side. They were one of the keystone or cornerstones of our top.
I remember going into their coach's box one day as a young fella. Mum used to work with Chris Cogan. Who might have been the coach of the 19s. I remember sitting in that coach's box, thought it was the biggest thrill of my life. Now I know it's just a timekeeper's box and it's just a few blokes sitting up there with a whiteboard, but at the time...
They've had some great players go through that club, Brendan Hollowick, the full forward, you had Wade Porter, they're just they were...
Marcus Pizzaglo.
They were a powerhouse team, and
powerhouse team, but unfortunately for them, they've only 10 flags in their history.
I know,
and only one since 1984, which was 2002.
But in that era, where they were in that upper echelon,
they made finals consistently.
But they were always bridesmaid to either East Burwood or Vermont, and obviously the fall, back into a lower division after being so many years in the Premier grade, they've gone back down. They've had to eat some humble pie, I reckon, and
they almost got relegated into Division 2.
But they've once again, it's been a slow grind, but they've rebuilt that club again, and Ben Osborne, I think, is
doing a good job.
Really good job, and he's actually instilled a that winning feeling again that they haven't had for such a long time.
Well, interestingly enough, they made 9 finals in a row from, 10 finals in a row from 1997 to 2008. So that might actually be 11 finals in a row. My maths. 11 final series out of those 12 years. And then obviously, as you said, Brash, the slide. And it's quite funny. Ben Osborne, South Croydon legend, coaching at East Ringwood, and Marcus Pizzaglo, East Ringwood legend, coaching at South Croydon.
And but looking at the other opposition today,
Croydon.
Yep. The thing that has impressed me most about them this year is the fact that their ability to stay in the contest when the momentum is not with them. They are one of the very few teams that are able to get that momentum back on their terms, and when they do, they don't take their foot off the jugular.
That's the thing. That's what's going to be interesting today, I think. Yeah, as Gav's saying, East Ringwood so well set up behind the ball, but Croydon are that team. Like Park Orchards, once they get rolling, it's hard to stop. And that's why I'm going the Blues. I think at home, and also I think that'll burn the loss in round 1, but also the fact they lost to Montrose before our hiatus. So, they're burning, and they're not out of the woods in terms of making the finals, because there are 3 sides, just 1 win behind them.
That's right.
And so on. So I'm going to go with the Blues.
In this one, I'm going with Croydon as well.
Yeah, Croydon just. It's going to be within a goal, or it just got a funny...
It'll be close. If East Ringwood win this one, I think I'm going to have to officially jump. Yeah, we're going to have to stop tipping Croydon against them. The other 4 games in this division are fairly one-sided. Park Orchard's up a gully, top versus bottom. Park Orchard should win that at It's still at Stintons. They haven't got the keys to Domini as of yet.
Won't make any difference.
No, Mooroolbark away to Lilydale, and you'd suspect the Mustangs, they've got a few players coming back from injury. They're one side who did enjoy, I think would have liked the break given how many injuries they had.
And it came at a right time because their form dipped a little.
Yeah, exactly. So they're taking Lilydale at Lilydale. You'd suspect they'd get a comfortable win. Montrose and Bayswater is close, but you'd have to say Montrose on paper.
Yeah, but...
Gav's nodding.
No.
I'm Basie?
Yeah, I can't pick Montrose. They're too unpredictable for me.
Something about them. Something about them.
Sorry.
Wanty South and Mitcham. I'm tipping Wanty South purely because they have to win it to keep their finals hopes alive. And this is harsh to the Mitcham people out there, but I just think they were riding a wave, and I think they're going to peter out and finish 7th.
I don't know if you were joking, but you said Mitcham were preparing for finals, booking their tickets.
They were, mate. They
getting
were.
the caps ready.
And I have it on good authority that a couple of people around the club have said if we make finals, we'll win it. So I debate that, but...
I think the thing is with... I think when you look at Wantirna South, right, they're another side that have had an influx of younger guys, Matt, and you know with those type of sides that their form is going to fluctuate, because trying to maintain the intensity on a week in, week out and still learn a game plan and play with new players, it all takes time. I'm not sure on how Mitcham's injury front, whether that's improved to allow players back into the side. But I'm going to go with Mitcham. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I just like the fact that when the times get tough, they like to get down and dirty, and this is another game I reckon that Mitcham can eke a win out.
Yeah. You're a down and dirty man, Gav. What is it?
Well, when it comes to football,
clean skin.
Bruise-free football.
That was me too, don't stress.
I'm not going to own up to that one. I think that they're going in 2 different directions in the recent times, so I reckon Wantirna South have got the form, and Lincoln Wong has always, since I've seen him in juniors, I've always been a fan of him. It looks like he's in good form, and Hamish McGowan playing good footy, so I reckon Wantirna South.
Brooke Caney and Patrick Wallace have been good inclusions too. Division 3, Donvale and Waverley Blues is the game of the round there. The other 3 games we'll quickly go through. Whitehorse and East Burwood. East Burwood have to win that. Well, so do Whitehorse really, but East Burwood, if they want to make finals.
Yeah, East Burwood for mine.
Scoresby and Glen Waverley. I think Glen Waverley are actually better than 7th position. They're a pretty good side, I think. But they did draw in round 1, these 2 teams, so it'll be one to keep an eye on.
I might go. Is it Scoresby at home?
Is that Scoresby?
Yeah, I might go them.
Yeah, another draw.
And Ferntree Gully take on Fair Park. Unfortunately for Fair Park fans, I think it'll be Ferntree Gully quite comfortably.
Tell you what, Ferntree Gully, gee, were they some ripping form before
They were.
They were the form side in that comp.
Well, Corey Preston was the form player. He only played 2 games, kicked 10 goals from the midfield. Or it might be 3 games with 14 goals, and he nominated for the mid-season draft. Didn't go. The Footscray VFL player. So, so this game, Donvale Waverley Blues, is it's interesting because in round one, Donvale got up by 3 points. Everyone was expecting Waverley Blues to win handily. Spoke to Tom Langford a few weeks back, and he said, look, Donvale actually deserved to win by more than 3 points. It should have been 4 goals. And Waverley Blues, when they're down, but when they're on. As simple as that sounds, rolling off the tongue there. They average 16 goals a game, Waverley Blues, but have been held to under 73 times. So they can put on a score. Langford said that they've got a lot of youth and then a 5 or 6 top end players in terms of age. So Savage, Sharp, Langford himself, Playstead, even Turner. So he's saying that there's not that evenness of maturity. So that's why those young players, as Gav's saying, when they're on, they're going to be flowing and beautiful, but in the tough times they can sometimes go to water, which is not a criticism, it's just something that happens at a young age.
Yep.
Whereas Donvale's sort of the opposite, they're just sort of scrapping to wins. I don't think they've done anything fancy in a while in terms of, I think they've only scored 90 once, and that was against maybe Whitehorse, but they're winning. And I don't think they've put their best 22 out yet. Another club with injuries, so it's an interesting thing. It is at Donvale, which is a weird place to play footy. So it's going to be an interesting game. It could be Waverley Blues by 10 goals, but it could be Donvale by 2 goals. It's one of those games.
Sometimes the percentages actually show a bit more than just being a statistic. The fact that Waverley Blues are 139%, I don't care if they're inconsistent. Their best is...
Oh, yeah. Their best is the best, and that's the straight knockout will help them. Because they've just got to play 2 good games at the end of the year. Yeah. Whereas, if it was not elimination and whatever, like Warrandyte get the double chance, there might be a chance that they can resolve it. But if Waverley Blues get on a run come finals, they could finish 4th and win it easy.
And these 2 clubs have got a fair history of playing good games against each other. So, it's a hard one.
I did think about covering that one, but Donvale, no.
It won't be as glamorous as this encounter to come. But I tip Waverley Blues just on their best.
Being the best.
Yeah.
I agree with you there, Gav.
I'm going Donvale.
There you go. Look, it's a genuine flip of the coin game, and it's interesting because that Division 3 is quite interesting. Scoresby's draw and Glen Waverley's draw might help them in the end, because Gav talks about Waverley Blues percentage, but now that they've got an uneven, well, not uneven, it's even points, but you know what I mean, unusual points tally.
Yeah.
It's actually, that means that Scoresby's percentage of about 40 doesn't matter. They just have to get half a win ahead of those sides above them. So it's a quite interesting Division 3, and can sometimes sort of go under the radar because of Premier and Div 1 and all the hullabaloo, the 4 top sides in this one, and then Division 4 seems to always get more attention than Division 3. So it's interesting to see that. Quickly, speaking about Division 4 before another break, Surrey Park Sylvan's the only game that's probably worth talking about, because Coldstream will beat Kilsyth, Forest Hill will beat Nuttawading, and Chermside Park will beat Croydon North. So Cats and Panthers. Personally, Brash, we've seen Sylvan. I think Sylvan's problem is their bottom 6 aren't up to the level. I think they're good defensively. They've got Giorgio and Riley, and Trent Martin can come back and help out. And then up 4, they've got Kimpton, Lowe and Lynch, have all kicked over 15 goals. It's just in the middle of the park, and they don't have the depth.
No, they don't. You're right. The thing is, when you're relying on talented forwards to kick your winning scores,
got to get the ball down there.
Yeah, and if you can't get it down, they can't do anything. I've been a little bit disappointed with Sylvan. They really have flirted with their form, haven't they?
Yeah, I don't think, I'm not saying they underrated anyone, but I think that their plan of sort of resting blokes against Kilsyth and Nuttawading and Croydon North made sense on paper, but the problem is that you don't get continuity into your game.
Does that smack of arrogance, though?
Yes and no, but all credit to Trent Martin. He just said openly, he said, we will beat those bottom 3 sides. We will beat them, and he's happy to give a rest to guys like himself and Giorgio that might not want to put another 2 hours into the body when they probably not need it. So, to be honest, I'm actually kudos to him for just saying it, because he wouldn't be the only look at Coldstream, they rested blokes.
Yeah,
but I bet you Chad didn't say that.
But what do you get out of beating up on a side sometimes?
But I think that's Trent's point. But the only thing is, I think the loss to Chermside now means that you might have to beat up on them, because they're even wins. It's all about percentage now.
Yeah. That game actually might be the tonic to shake Sylvan out of their lethargy a little bit. Well, gee, You know, we've lost the tunes. Like we should not. If we're a club of any substance that wants to play finals, we shouldn't be losing to that club.
If they're going to win a semi, it's going to be probably against the Surrey Park, who they lost to in round 2 by 4 goals, and they had 9 less shots on the day, so they've got to improve against the Surrey Park.
Surrey Park's defence is very good. So talk about Sylvan's forward trio. Surrey Park's defence is up there. So
I'm going with Surrey Park today.
Yeah, I'm also on Surrey Park. So, and the Panthers look like they're going to make the finals, which is good for them. So we're going to go to a break. On the other side of this break, we will talk about this game and the other 3 games in Division 2, which is shaping up as a very, very interesting division.
And you're clear. We've got 4 minutes.
19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funeral's latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funeral's Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate, complete offset on fixed and variable loans, and a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He's circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Okay, here we go. Put your mics on now.
Jubilee Park, ladies and gentlemen, for Parker Cup number 2 for 2021. It's Ringwood and Heathmont, which is a massive clash in Division 2 this season. And I'm Matthew Ferdier, joined by Wayne Brasher and Gavin Casey. In the build-up, we've done the other 3 divisions, and there's some pretty exciting games across them, Brash, and we've also looked at the season restructure and the finals restructure and the explanation behind it as we build up into this one. And let's sink our teeth into it. It's one of the great rivalries in the Eastern Footy Netball League, and obviously we spoke about Ringwood being up the divisions for a few years, so it probably didn't get played until frequently until the last few years, and it's delivered almost every time, Ringwood and Heathmont, and it's unlike Vermont and South Croydon, which is sort of developed from close games. Ringwood and Heathmont is due. It's just because they're noisy neighbours, and it's been good. Yeah.
Well, I harker back to a game in 2017 where Ringwood were expected.
Well, that was the final, and we talked
the preliminary final. I believe there must have been a win there, just the scoring patterns, but to be 19 points down.
I remember watching that
time
on the stream. I remember watching it,
and Heathmont came over the top and denied, and started the terrible history of Ringwood and finals.
It was that one. They should have made it and got knocked out the prelim. I think Trent Farmer kicked something like 2-8. He had he was best on, but had a shocking day in front of goal.
That was when the big Viking
12-17, 89, lost to 15-10, 100.
Yeah, I remember watching that, having to work and having the laptop set up at work at the old cricket centre I used to work, and just watching that in the background, and it was just one of those games, and it was exciting because I think, and then Park Orchards won the flag the next week.
Yeah.
From reports, and then of course 2018, I don't think they played each other in a final, did they?
No, I think, eventually Ringwood came off an 18-zip season to lose to the young Baronia in a grand final.
A side I called fat and slow.
But they weren't. They were so pacey. It was such a great game by them. They deserved it on the day, Baronia. Ringwood, undefeated all season, looked like they should have won a premiership that year. And
that's when they beat Templestowe, who had their own woes at the time too.
Templestowe made, what was it, 2 grannies and 2 prelims in 4 years.
That was in that period for them where they
maybe it was a curse and they've handed on the back. So maybe Ringwood need to hand it on to someone.
I think when you look at today's game and you look at the 2 really good lineups here, these are well-established players that we've all grown accustomed to, Gav, over the years. We know a lot of these players, and it's good to see them back up and running. But the one thing that, and I'm glad we're doing this game, because in essence, these 2 sides were the 2 form sides in Division 2 before we hit the.
Well, Heathmont won 5 on the trot.
That's right.
And Ringwood had knocked off the Basin Baronia by 6 goals.
Yeah. So both these sides. It probably was a shame that they didn't meet the week after, but both sides are relatively fresh. So
yeah,
it could. Look, I'm expecting that this game. It's not going to be a high-scoring contest, I don't think.
I think this ground's honestly too big for 80 plays 80.
Yeah,
it's just too big. If it's an even game, it's too hard to be a free-flowing game because it takes, no matter how good the player, it's going to take 5 kicks.
Yeah,
to get from one end to the other.
Look,
so it's either 100 to 40. I think the total amount of points. Here we go. I'll get a bit funky. Max points, I reckon, total that could be kicked will be 150. You can split them however you want. Ideally for us, it's 75-75. But I think 100. I don't think you're going to get more than 150 points kicked.
We got Heathmont.
Writing that
down. Heathmont have been averaging 89, Ringwood 85. So you're not wrong.
Yeah, I'll be around the mark.
You'll be around the mark.
And that's with playing the bottom teams.
Yeah, and I think, and the thing is too, you're right. It does take 4 to 5 kicks, but you've got to really.
And that'd be a training when there's no defensive pressure. Think about when we've seen Ringwood for years play that forward press, and Heathmont by reports, Jared Beanland actually watched a bit of their round 3 clash and said that both sides play that similar defensive way of pressing up. So, it's going to take more than 4 kicks to get it out of defensive 50 sometimes.
And as you're well known, Gav, even though there's such big grounds and we turn around and say you've got to play down the middle, inevitably the game just never goes down the middle, does it?
Well, But it's all about it. Modern football own the corridor.
Yeah, and teams do it defensively too, don't they?
So you're not going to the corridor. If you want to run around us, you'll get tired.
Yeah, go for it.
And then we'll use the corridor because you're stuffed. That's what the modus operandi of a lot of defensive sides is to these sides that can run.
And the reason the corridor gets used in the end is because everyone's knackered and they don't set up right. So at the start of the game, Gav's right. We'll see a lot of play. Watch, they'll just run for the guts here. We'll see a lot of play skirt around the wings because sides will defend the corridor. And come the end of the game when everyone's a bit knackered because they've had 2 weeks off or 3 weeks off, we'll see it open up. Blokes won't get to the right position and it should open up for us. But it's going to be exciting. We just spoke to Davo, Brett Davidson, who's the Paul Roos at Heathmont at the moment. They're very excited about their forward trio of Finn Brown, Jed Hansen and Ayan Budramov. I apologise if I've said that incorrectly.
Bajamarov.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, Finn Brown's only, 20? Jed Hansen, I think, still in school, and he's leading their goal kicking, and Bajramov is showing signs. And then you've got the Burley brothers, who have been dominant all year. But then you look at Ringwood, and we know all the names. We were talking about it before we got on air. Farmers, Burmeisters, Collier's back, Callanan. You look down that Jackson, Hill, Tim Wax you look down that list. Obviously, having had such success, we do know the names, but
and Jordan off as a half forward jumps on people's head every now and again.
So it's going to be, and Ringwood's home record and their defensive pressure is so good. Like you said, it might not. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, but as you said, Brash, it's going to be a very exciting one.
Gav, do you actually think that this game could turn out be one of those games where you might have to pace yourself a little bit because, all right, I know that the essence is get goals on the board quick to put scoreboard pressure, but because the guys haven't had a run for 2 or 3 weeks, does that mean that if you've got a lead, instead of staying more offensive, you're going to become a little bit more defensive to try and hold back some energy to try and run the game out?
I don't think they're going to pace themselves as such as shut down, get numbers to the contest, but there might be a bit of tempo footy. Hold the ball by kicking it to a teammate. Because there's open spaces, you can go sideways or diagonal for a short pass. And then I think the opposition will just play a bit of holding ground and wait for a mistake. And then a bit of quick pounce on a mistake, go down the guts, put it into the inside 50, maybe a mark situation inside 50 and have set shots. That's probably the best way to play tempo and score.
Well, that's what teams do, don't they? They score from turnover nowadays. You don't see scores from kick-ins.
And I think some of these possessions will be allowed to be happen where you'll go sideways or a diagonal and they'll just sweat and wait. So sometimes the targets will hit the ground and no one will be going anywhere quick. But that moment where a score will happen will come off a mistake. That's what happens at big grounds. So we might have moments where it seems like the ball's not moving very quickly, but it could be just a sweet moment of pouncing and then there'll be a score from that. So I just think the tempo will be when you have the ball, but the opposition might play a bit zone, a bit of sweating on their opponent, waiting for their opportunity. And then once the opposition give it back to you, you can play your own tempo, use the width of the ground.
Yep.
Absolutely. The other big game in this division is Boronia and South Belgrave at Tormore. I've got South Belgrave winning it just because I think their attacking force is so good, but it's a massive game for both sides because 4th and 5th on the ladder. Boronia themselves have lost 3 in a row, I think, or definitely 3 of the last 4. So it's a massive encounter, Brash.
They have, and the break probably couldn't have come at a better time for Boronia because I think the dynamics of Boronia at the moment it's not there. I think some of their key players from the last 2 or 3 years aren't going as well as what they were going at this particular stage of the season. They've had Lockie McKernan coming back into the side. They've had guys overseas. And injuries. And so there's been no continuity. They lost one of the Hannons, right, which I thought was a big loss.
Upway Tacoma, top of my head.
However, I think one of the things that where they've really become a little bit stagnant is they've lost their outside run, Boronia, and that was where Ryan White, right, when he first came into the into that side. That was his job. But sides have actually learnt to shut him down. So I think Matty Clark in some way needs to find a way of getting him, because he's an attacking footballer and he does set up a lot of forward forays. So he needs to find a way to get Ryan back into the game so that he can have more of an input on the game. So I think Matty might need to also tweak the game plan a little bit, because they look a little bit top heavy in certain areas of the ground, and they're not running. They're certainly not running like they were in those premiership years.
They've got to use the ball better, I think. If they're going to be...
Yeah, well, it was terrible.
They've got to win the stoppages, which they can do.
Yep.
And then the problem was against the Basin. As he said, they don't have the run to just run, but to move the ball quickly, they've got to be good by foot, and they weren't. And as you said, Gav, on big grounds, turnovers happen and they kill you. So I think South Belgrave will win. South Belgrave they're going better than 4-3. Their losses have been to Ringwood by a goal, Baronia by 10 points, and the Basin by 2 goals or something like that. So they've been around the mark, and Odermatt has only played 2 games this year. Tim Smith's missed a couple. Liam Kidd's only played 5 of 7. So they haven't been able to put their best 22. So I'm tipping South Belgrave.
So am I today. I am. I'm going to tip South Belgrave.
Gavin?
I'm not going to be an expert on this game, other than I'll tip Baronia.
Okay. Well, at home, and that would stick with them until they burn you.
That's what I'm thinking as well. It's like they haven't failed us. They have their ups and downs, and teams play behind the ball a bit to their own. I think they get worried out of it sometimes.
Absolutely. Mulgrave and Templestowe. Mulgrave will win. It's out at Escape to the Country, Brash, your favourite ground in the competition.
Yep, Mulgrave for mine.
Mulgrave to win. Hopefully get up another 100-point score.
Yep.
Gavin?
Yep.
You with us?
Yep.
And then finally the Basin and Knox.
Basin for mine.
Been disappointed in Knox and the Basin have been the best team of the year on paper.
So you had the 2 teams flipped
I did.
in your rankings, if anyone wants to remind you.
And they do every week. Except the one week where I got on board with them and Ringwood beat them by 10 goals and I got told, jump back off. So there you go. Well, look at that, riding a bicycle. We've timed it beautifully. Every game covered. We've covered the restructure, everything. And on the other side of this break, we're going to be calling all the action from the Parky Cup. Ringwood and Heathmont. Wayne Brasher, Gav Casey, thanks for the hour.
Thank you very much for having me.
Good to be back here.
Good to be back. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
And you're clear. We've got 4 minutes.
Thanks, Nigel.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funerals' Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet. Pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate. Complete offset on fixed and variable loans. And a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastland Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7
30 seconds.
Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He's circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
It's time for the match of the round. Let's cross to our team and go local for your footy.
Putting your mics on now.
Yes, welcome back to Jubilee Park, ladies and gentlemen, and if you're joining us on Radio Eastern 98.1 for the first time, welcome. It's the Parker Cup here. And it's a nice day, and there's a spattering of parents and guardians and essential workers, which is good to see. And one of those, or two of those, Wayne Brasher and Gavin Casey, gents. We've had a good look at the list now. There's no late changes, which is always good to see from our point of view, especially when a couple of the guys, try to get their head around the names the night before. But who are the players you're looking forward to seeing the most, Gav and Brash?
Well, obviously the two farmer boys for Ringwood, and obviously they always draw a lot of interest because of their mercurialness.
Star power.
And their star power, but I've always been a bit of a fan of Daniel Collier as well as Tin Wack and Daniel Jordanoff, I should say. Very consistent performances right throughout their careers at Ringwood, and I think look, one of the form sides in Division 2 heading into the contest today, albeit with that little 2-week hiatus we had, and it's going to be a fantastic performance. And I think if either one of the farmers gets off the leash, that could be a big difference on whether they win or lose today.
And Gav, from a Heathmont point of view, mate, who are you most looking forward to seeing today?
Well, we talked about their pronged attack. We've got Finn Brown, Badgeromoff and Hansen kicking the goals, but also Robbie Savoury is a veteran. He always plays well. Declan Brown, with an E on the end of his name, is having a great season. So is Campbell Evans. He's been named 5 times in the best 6 out of his 7 games, so we'll be looking for him. There's the Burmeisters for Ringwood, and then there's the Burleys for Heathmont, and they're both having great seasons, Ryan and Joel in the Burleys for Heathmont. So there's about 10 of each side that are so consistent that we'll be calling them a lot.
Finn Brown also looms large too, Gav. He's a quality performer and has been for such a young age, or a young man. So
where did he go, Coburg?
Finn Brown?
Finn Brown.
Was it Coburg or was it Port Melbourne, maybe off the top of my head?
The thing is, though, you have to look, he's actually the thing is with Finn, he's always had to carry the weight of expectation, Gav, because he was a highly rated junior at Heathmont, right? And he was sort of thrust into senior football at an early age because of his precociousness. And the thing is, he's had to shoulder a lot playing centre half forward, and that's a big position to play for a young guy.
Yeah, and The Heathmont have always had a big guy at full forward, and the key positions has never been a weakness for them. So, yeah, he's got more focus, but having Hansen come in and kick the goals this year means...
I'm interested to see what Hansen provides, because like I said, he's still in school from what I understand. And like, is he going to be a tall forward? Is he going to be a small forward? Is he going to be this mid-sized Harry Money type? It'll be very interesting as we watch Tim Burmeister 200 senior games.
Well done, Tim.
Which is pretty incredible. We're in the number 13 today, leading the side out. And speaking of, what does he offer, Brash? I think it was defender turned hard-nosed midfielder.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the Burmeisters in general are very good all-round footballers, Matt, because they seem to be able to adapt to any position or any challenge that has been put before them. And that's a really good trait to have as a footballer, and a luxury for a coach to know that I can put a certain player in a certain position and he's going to do a job for me every week, and he fits that bill.
Absolutely. So as the Heathmont boys run out onto the ground, what are you feeling? I'm leaning towards Ringwood. I think their experience will get them across the line. Gents, anyone want to take up the Heathmont option?
I think if I might have gone Heathmont if this was at Heathmont. But I just think for mine, I think Ringwood. I like their spine. I like the players that they've got in this side today, and I just think that they might just. I just think their experience will get them over the line this afternoon, Matt.
Gavin?
For the commentary sweepstakes, it was 14:04.
Yeah.
But I want to tip Heathmont, but I actually think Ringwood will just win. But I just think it's going to be a close game, and it could. Just looking forward to a good game. Just looking forward to football live.
Yeah.
So I'm really confused about form and how to know what's going to happen, and just let it happen and enjoy it.
You're right, because 2 weeks ago, if we had kept playing, this would have been a ripper contest with both sides. You know, fully fit. Lots of continuity. Pro players were in good form, body-wise. Now we're back to sort of square one. They've lost 2 weeks, and so they've probably lost a bit of conditioning.
And you know, we talk about.
And you're a man who knows about conditioning, Brad.
Oh, I certainly do.
He's an athlete. It reminds me of that scene in Kingpin when the bowlers were bowling the ball, and then the commentator goes, "Look at the athletes." But that's just another matter.
You mean Crackerjack?
No,
well, that's another great film about athletic prowess. And speaking of athletic prowess, we're joined by Ben Warren-Smith for the first time today.
I could see that a mile away. Good afternoon to you, gentlemen. Been really fun listening to you boys on the air on the way into the ground today, and it's just great to be back at the football, isn't it? There's a lot of people here, a lot of dog walkers.
Woof. They're renting dogs, apparently. It's a new thing.
Look, it's great to be out here for the Parker Family Cup. Traditionally we do call at least one of these games each year, which is a great tradition in the Eastern Football Netball League, and one that will continue on for many, many years. And the fact that Heathmont got the first one earlier on in the year is why I'm going for Ringwood today, because generally it goes 1-1 each year as well. Yeah. So I think that Ringwood, I've been dying to see them. They, at different times we talk about them, that they sort of just go under the radar these days over the last few seasons, because they're just regulation win. You know they're going to play finals. They'll be really up for this challenge today. Heathmont are in the informed side, really, aren't they, of the division? They're on absolutely flying at the moment, and maybe the little break might just put a bit of a lull on that, and on their home patch. And we know that Matt loves this ground. It's looking fantastic out here, isn't it?
I was going to say that I'd ask if they'd get off the square, go around it.
What about your run-up as well?
Well, about where, who's running across it now? Declan Hill's just about to cross across it there. Where Trent Farmer's standing now, that's about it.
Do you run that far? No, seriously.
Around 30 metres. Shane was with us today.
30 metres?
Yeah. Shane's watched it. I don't know. I always kept going over the line, so I just kept going back further the other way. Never works.
I reckon EFNL headquarters should be out at this ground. What about that?
Well, there's a new building going in.
It looks fantastic over there.
Oh, but how much money went into creating EFNL House?
Oh, look, that,
How much?
That could be the holiday. That could be the holiday house.
What, out in Baronia?
Just leave the caravan there.
Exactly.
The sun is shining out here, and it's just great to see smiles on faces and people out here. So, and good to see that Matt's loaded us up with the goodies today as well up here in the grandstand.
There you go. So we got a few people around the grounds too. East Burwood are live streaming their game. So if you for some reason don't want to join us for this one, East Burwood are live streaming their game, and I believe Vermont are live streaming their game, which will be good for us because we'll be keen to keep an eye on that one as well.
We will be, and look at like I said, congratulations to all the clubs. Hope you all have a good day, and once again, thank you to all the players for once again who have had to put up with a hell of a lot this year. But thank you from all of us here for actually getting on the ground this week and putting on a product that we can call.
And it's just respectful to mention that there's been a milestone here. Happy birthday during the week, Ben.
Oh, thanks, Gav.
Yeah, happy birthday, BWS.
10 years behind you, aren't I, Gav?
So not 10 years. Come on, respect, please.
39 during the week, so a big 40 next year. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. Well,
what are you talking about? We'll be locked down for it.
Don't say that.
Don't be like Brash. You're looking good, by the way. Very good. So
Thanks.
He's been getting his 2 hours exercise every day.
I told you, I've been conditioning.
Look forward to some of your specials.
Oh, mate, I've got some rippers coming up. I'll tell you that now.
You've been saving it. Are you just walking around the house, just muttering to yourself?
Mate, I've got some classics, I reckon. I'm just waiting for the right time to wheel them out.
Well, what was my number, Gav? I said 150 points total.
Yeah.
Is the max. So I'm going to write that down.
And what do you do if there's 151? There should be a rider on it.
151's within line.
Okay. No, you pay a penalty. That's what I'm saying.
Gav, it's within the level of tolerance.
What's my handicap?
Heathmont will be kicking to the Maroondah Highway end of the ground.
The cricket nets.
Left of your radio dial and left of your TV screen. So sit back and enjoy what should be a fantastic Parker Family Cup clash today. Gav Casey, the number one caller in the Eastern Football Netball League. It's great to have him back riding shotgun this afternoon. He's going to take us away. Here's the first term.
Ringwood versus Heathmont, the local rivals. And it's first ball going to Ambrose. He just gets his hand pass out, finds Burley. Burley goes backwards, so the kick from centre back goes centre forward, but McCann in the way for the Redbacks. Goes out of side, scoreboard side with his kick. It's a contested ball. Ground level though, it's won by Jackson. Jackson hands it off his teammate. Now off and running to Stagg. Stagg goes through the middle. Nice short pass. Finds the intended target. Now a low ball. Can't get to the leading forward. So at the back of the pack, it's picked up by Quirk. Quirk goes out wide and Heathmont hold it in hand. And again, Ambrose going long kick inside 50. The chopping of the arms didn't go the way of Badgeromoff, but the smother comes in to hold in the ball. Well done by Molino playing against and smothering Tim Burmeister's try to clear it. So it's a good play there by Heathmont to go from half back and quickly go to half forward. Did you think there was a chopping of the arms in Badgeromoff's mark attempt there, Brash?
Yep, most definitely.
Not paid, but it's okay so far, and nearly tripping over.
I was more impressed by Molino's effort to lock that ball into that top 50, something that his uncle's really good at doing, locking people up.
We've given you a run at it, Brash. You've had your two. Harry Isaacs is playing on Trent Farmer, and he's giving away about a foot.
I feel like we have to say politically endorsed.
55 metres out from goal. Quirk got the handball, kicks it towards the top of the square, and standing strong and taking a very, very good mark there was Hansen, and he'll go back and have a ping from 20 metres out directly in front.
Good play there.
It was good body work, wasn't it? Just used his arms in the side there, so not a free kick, and he's a pretty big boy for 17, 18.
That might be a mismatch there. You have a look at the body size
It
between
looks like
us.
there's mismatches all over the ground. It looks like the defences are a lot shorter than the forwards.
Ripper first name. Here goes Jed. Straight over the goal umpire's head it goes, and Heathmont get the first goal on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard this afternoon. And 2 minutes into this first term, they lead 1 straight 6. It's been all down their end so far. Ringwood yet to score.
Yeah, really good positive start here for Heathmont. They seem to be controlling that half-back line, and they're running the lines as well, Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the way, as Gab said, they went around the ground, but they still moved it quite well, and that kick to Badramov was very good, and then the forward pressure kept it in, which we expected, as Jared told us before we went on air, and yeah, it'll be interesting. It's going to be an exciting game, as we said.
So the ball's back in the middle of Jubilee, and out it comes, still in that centre square. We've got a number 2 running around in the Heathmont jumper. Getting our boundary riders to get on top of that one. So, taking off to the races now. They kick to the half-forward line. That was Murfitt, but there's nobody home. It's a sea of jets across that half-back line. So it's Caleb Quirk. Looks one way, then the other. Sun got in his eyes maybe a little bit there. Going up after it, that time was Cunningham. Palmed it down. That was okay. Here's McDonald backwards to go forwards here. Xavery on the left. Slams it right down the wing. But to no avail, though, because cut off there by Collio. Had some players running free in the middle of the ground. Jordanov. What a superstar he's been for Ringwood. Short passes on. Mark has been taken now by Burmeister. Gets a handball off, up towards the half-forward line, standing strong. A little knock there by Collio. Might have given away a free kick in front. Instead it was Stagg. And let's cross down boundary side.
Running around in the number 2 today is Campbell Evans. We have it as number 3 on our sheets.
Thank you very much.
It's just interesting to see there, Robbie Savoury, when Ringwood had the ball in the centre of the ground, there was just dropping about 30 metres out directly in front, just filling a hole, and that's why the kick had to come in a little bit shorter.
Let's cross back down boundary side to Brett Beston.
Yeah, just a quick update on Ringwood, a couple of number changes for them. Scott Lang is in 45, and they've got a number change with Timmy Burmeister. He was listed as 31, but he's wearing 13. Otherwise, everything else is as programmed.
Very good work there, Besto, and Jared Beanland down there today in the best spot in the house. There's no doubt about that. Besides ours, of course. There's a bit of a fresh air shot from both ruckmen that time, and then a kick out of the mid-air. Goes up towards the half-forward line. It's hovering around that area now for Ringwood. The Jets, chance to reprieve, and kick goes up towards the wing. Couldn't quite hold the mark in that time. There was Callanan, and he goes after it again. Sorry, that it was Grierson who kept the ball alive. Their little look-away handball displayed that way. Here's Anthony McCann, known as Smalls, up towards the half or wing position, knocked away, and a good timely fist there by Joel Burley over the boundary line. She goes for a boundary throw-in.
Brash's man Molino with another good forward 50 tackle there. He's he might not get his hands on the footy that much, but he's going to be key to the way they play.
Yep.
So it's a ball in half forward for Heathmont. They've done all the scoring with one goal to their leading option in Jed Hansen. Now it's another inside 50. Underneath it was Ambrose. Couldn't mark it. Had 2 attempts at it, but the hand pass goes at the back to Lang. Lang short pass still under pressure. Ringwood deep in the defence. Grierson dumping kick to the wing. It falls into the hands of his teammate. Very luckily coming in late was Evans, and his hip bumped the head of the marker. And it'll be now a quick hand pass onto the run of Collier. Collier goes long from the wing into the half-forward line where the 50 pierces the boundary line.
Well
punched
done.
on by George into the path of his teammate. Running onto it is Jackson. Jackson dodges one and passes over the top. But the run-down tackle was brilliant by Heathmont. And the Jets, what a rescue tackle that was. I just missed the tackle if you get the help on that. Was that Brown?
Yeah, it was Declan Brown.
Declan Brown, long kick. It's a wobbler. It's really just in the bounces into his teammates' hands, but they're still under a big pressure, are the Jets. They're trying to share it around. Close contest, defensive 50. Now it comes back to Brown, who just dumps a long kick to the middle of Jubilee Park as our commentary area just falling apart. If that's not distracting at all, the big microphone goes down here in the grandstand, and it's a free kick to Heathmont.
Kick goes up in towards the forward 50. Now out in front, good strong lead there by Jed Hansen, and he'll go back and he'll kick from 55.
That's a great kick, by the way. It's good defence to make him lead out there, but that kick was centimetre perfect, Brash.
It was.
Distance might be beyond him here.
Tell you what, he's got a nice build, this boy.
He's backing himself in though.
No, he'll pop it out.
No, he kicks it right to that hot spot, and the wind's bringing it all the way to the line. No.
Is that a free kick against Finn Brown there? He's just tried to leapfrog someone and got nowhere near the footy.
So it was touchdown over the line, and this time Ringwood down this end, sort of end of the ground, get the goal umpire's right decision as it comes out. Well, nice little duck and turn there by Quirk. Got the handball back, barging his way through was Perkis, but he could go nowhere because Daniel Collier was right there. He's been around the football a fair bit, Collier, early in the piece.
I think Quirk's been very good off that half-back line early.
And he was only there because he was trying to come off the ground. He applied the tackle because he was about to go off.
So going up that time there was Evans, got the knockdown, little handball over the top. It was trying a bit of luck of fortune there. Burmeister got the handball away and it's gone off the foot and out of bounds on the full. So half forward line here for the Jets. They lead 1-1-7 to Ringwood yet to score. 8 minutes gone here in the first term on EFNL game day. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Tucked away at home, there's no crowds allowed in, although there's plenty of crowd in today. I didn't say that. Grierson as it goes inside forward. 50, a big fly over the back that time by Cunningham. Got a timely fist on it. Scooping on it was Burley. Charging his way through was Cairns. Got a boot to ball. Scooped up on it was Molino. Up towards the top of the goal square. Got one hand on it there. Cunningham. Doesn't matter because Bardramov kicks the goal. He was in position A, front and centre. That's exactly how you do it. And they've started well, the Heathmont Jets. 2-1-13 on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Ringwood yet to score.
Yeah, it's good crumbing goal there. Well done by the Jets. Again, all the goals are going to be quite scrappy, as we've seen so far, Brush, but their pressure's been amazing. It's been trapped in front of the Ringwood interchange bench for a couple of times, and there's been 3 Jets to 1 Redback at all times. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep it up all day, but so far so good.
Interestingly too, there was no one within 5 metres of Bardramov off their front and square either. That's important. That's something Ringwood need to look at.
Cross down to Brett Beston.
Forgot to mention the weather, boys, just down here. It's quite pleasant. There's just a very light breeze, nothing to speak of, but plenty of blue sky. A little bit of cloud, which might come in a bit later, but it's very pleasant down here.
Feels like Heathmont do have a slight advantage. Would that be right?
It's sort of blowing across the ground, but a little bit. It's swirling around, but it's not significant.
The ball takes so long to get back to the middle because it's like a 100-metre run for the boundary rider.
Yeah,
umpire, should I say.
Well, it is 2.5 kicks.
They're not sprinting either. But it's now ball back in the middle of Jubilee Park. Ringwood yet to score on the home deck, hosting their local rival Heathmont in the H.E. Parker Cup. And it's now secondary ball up will be happening after...
Parker Family Cup, that's your first warning from Brad Henderson.
Sorry, my bad. It's changed.
Hello, Brad.
Yep. Well, the accurate one would be accurate, so we'll give him... I had to make a mistake so he could correct me at least once. Cunningham, well, this time it's Cullinan who's got the ball. He hands it out to a teammate now. This ball inside 50. He doesn't get there because it's chopped off by Evans. And Evans, he's got a runner to loop around his back. Short pass, finds a good target. And Heathmont now going from half back to half forward. Try to run towards it is McDonald. He's trailing his opponent, but he's got some help now. The Jets got some numbers on the wing, but it's too close to the boundary and it'll be over the line in the hands of Sheriff.
They've got extra men everywhere. That was a 3-on-2 there. Sheriff's playing centre half back, so worked hard up the ground, and at the moment they're all over him.
There seems to be at least 2-to-1 ratio for Heathmont at the fall of the ball, Matt.
Bardramov might run onto it, might have to apply the tackle, and it's a gang tackle. Bardramov just strips him like it's a rugby league game, but as he runs forward, he gets taken down in a tackle, and it's holding the ball by Tim Burmeister, celebrating a milestone of 200 games today, and he kicks it out wide. Good option, well-weighted kick, dropped the mark of Parker, plenty of time to run on it again. Hand pass loops over the top to his teammate, Hill's ball's smothered, and they don't get inside 50, Ringwood, and I just think if Parker could have grasped a mark, he would have run into open space.
Let's cross down boundary side to Jaron Beanland.
Yeah, you guys mentioned that there are a lot of numbers for Heathmont at the fall of the ball. Ringwood seem to be holding off, expecting to be an option and receive a handball, receive a kick.
Well, the big ruckman brought down Jack Murfitt. Crash as the umpire throws it up now. Evans' little flick over the back. That was very good. Brown with an E this time. Up towards centre half forward. There's nobody home though. Standing strong underneath it. There was Lang. Dropped what he probably should have taken at the fall of the ball. There was Brown with no E. Goes inside forward 50. It was Grierson who took it. Then wants to switch the play. No one's used his far side yet in this first term, but they might just use the corridor, the Redbacks, as they do. So there are a couple of kicks from home still. Kick goes up towards the half forward line. That was a beautiful kick. This is coast to coast at its best at the moment. Mitch Farmer takes it. He's 55 out. Which way is he going to go? He's going to spear the ball in towards the top of the goal square. Sheriff got a little knock on it, as did his teammate over there in Isaacs, and through it goes for one behind. 12.5 minutes gone here in the first term on EFNL game day, and Ringwood get their first point, but they trail by 2 straight kicks. Heathmont 2-1-13.
And that's the same score for Baldwin over Noble Park. They lead 13-0.
Keep the scores coming in today. All the officials that are out there at the grounds, all the fans, keep everybody up to date. Means we can't all be at the football today as the ball's just pushed and pushed forward a field and being paid deliberate by
That's the correct. He was deliberately putting it out of play. That's a correct call.
Yep, there was no one ahead of him.
Just because you're attacking doesn't mean it can't be deliberate.
Exactly. It's just some things aren't interpreted the same at this level.
Depends on which side you're supporting, Gav.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I hear. He had players running on his back, like which way
I
can
agree,
you go?
but his intent there was to put it out of play.
Absolutely. Lang got it away that time. He's canned. So Bendigo Bank scoreboard, side of the ground / the cricket nets, and seeing it over there was Declan Hill. Brett Bestard's boundary side.
Yeah, just putting my 2 cents worth, and boys, that was right in front of us, and he just about tried to kick it into the grandstand. It was as deliberate as you'll see.
Well, that was about a cent, Brett. So
I'll give you a change after.
Brilliant. As it comes in now, Burmeister was there. Umpire's going to say it's a free kick going the way of the Jets.
Ryan Burley's
been busy.
Well, he's had six times in best out of 7 this year. So and Nick Rutley did say he's played more inside than outside this year.
Bit of a pocket rocket as the ball goes in towards Bajmarov. He couldn't quite do it. He got the tackle away, but they're charging away with it now. Here, Cairns wasted no time at all. He got the free kick and then went on with it. A big pack in the middle of the ground. It was Farmer in there of the Trent variety. Couldn't take the mark. He had 2 players to beat, so Stagg came in to mop up the pieces. Kick goes up towards the half-forward line. Who's going to be able to run onto this? It's Callanan. Top of the goal square. Handball away. That's good play there, Redbacks. Very good play. George kicks his first. He kicks Ringwood's first, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, they inch closer. It's only 1 kick the difference now. Heathmont 2-1-13. Ringwood 1-1-7.
They got that turnover there, and then they just caught too many Heathmont players too far up the ground, Matt.
Yeah, well, that's twice. The other option, the other time was Declan Brown actually made a goal-saving tackle. That's twice they've got out the back of Heathmont.
Yep.
And if you watch the highlights of Ringwood this year, they do seem to kick a lot of goals unmanned in the goal square, a bit like St Kilda of 2020, kicking goals out the back. So obviously it hasn't worked this year for the Saints, but in terms of Ringwood, it's worked a couple of times. It's just last time Declan Brown was able to save it.
Finn Brown versus Tim Burmeister, the rucks at it. The taps one towards Heathmont's goals. Brown butters up, hands it over to Ambrose, who's in the middle, and now long ball. Badgeroff wrestling with his opponent, goes over their head for the contest, falls back towards Badgeroff on the ground, so it's Ringwood who pick it up off the deck, and now they'll run it out. Now short pass close to the boundary line, nearly goes over the top. Must have had some chalk. No, it's out of bounds on the full from the kick out by McCann, and it's going to be a turnover free kick for Heathmont.
From here it looked like it hit it, but the umpire was literally on top of it.
I just think
well, can we get 2 cents worth from Brett Weston?
We've got 1 cent left over. Let's cash it in.
My other set was that was definitely out of bounds on the full, boys. That was literally a couple of metres away from us.
I just think Ringwood's disposal at the moment's just a little off. It's a bit sloppy.
Well, they're under pressure, aren't they, Brush?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, well, that kick was very sloppy. He gets out on the full from out on the full as his kick tried to find Molino. And Langdon's kick went out of bounds out on the full, and Parker's got the resulting free kick for Ringwood.
Jimmy Parker, just inside the defensive arc for Ringwood. Sort of almost taken a little bit of slowed things down and taken a bit of control in the last few minutes, but the Jets would like to get the answer here. Handball by Gris and brought to ground. Gonski holding the ball is the decision. I tell you what, a fair bit of play just in front of us here in this first term. Boundary riders are lapping this one up as George winds around now on the right boot. It was a bit an up and under kick there. Savoury was over the back. They might be able to run onto it here. Jackson got the handball away. That was good. Hill brought to ground. And he's been pinged as well. Geez, they're hot to trot on the holding the ball decision in this first term. I think that one was a little bit stiff.
Yeah, I didn't think he had much prior opportunity there.
So it will be Finn Brown, quick handball away. And now the Jets up towards the half-forward line, working underneath it, a little push. The umpire said Molino. He's filthy about it too. He's Tom Molino, giving away a free kick to McCann. A little chip over the top. He'll go. So they're still across that half-back line as Warren goes back into the defensive arc. And wasn't the greatest of kicks, but a lot of space was out there for Wack. So Wack Short option for him.
Robbie Savoury hasn't gone near a man all day today. He's just getting one or two kicks down the line from wherever Ringwood have the ball. He's just coming sweeping across with the ball.
Scott Lang slammed it down Grierson's throat, who dropped like a hot potato, but the umpire had already blown his whistle, so you'll take that as a freebie.
Rowville 3-2-20. North Ringwood yet to score. 6 minutes to go first quarter.
Towards the half-forward line. At the fall, the ball there did well was Quirk. He just looked like he had a lot of time when he really didn't. Short pass was on to Murphy Ambrose, who takes it, screaming for players to lead up to the left half-forward line, and he takes off. Sells a little bit of candy there, which was pretty impressive as he drives the ball up towards the half-forward line. In position A there was Bajramov. He might get another go at it, the big man. The ball just did a Stephen Milne wrong and away from him, and it comes out towards Lang, who was brought to ground. He had to tackle Evans, who the big man is not afraid to hit the deck as well, that's for sure. Let's cross down boundary side to Jared Beanland.
Yeah, Bajramov seems to be the most active forward for Heathmont. Ringwood have just made the change. They've put Whack onto him instead of Lang.
Well, Grierson did a pirouette and he dropped the football. So Davidson, short pass was on. He was looking for his teammate there in Burley. He'll get it this time. He had time this way, that way, on the left. Up and under kick to the top of the goal square. It's a 4-on-1 situation here, and a little fingertipper sees it go over the boundary line for a boundary throw in left forward pocket.
East Burwood 6-1-37, Whitehorse 1 behind, and Baldwin 3-1-19, Noel Park yet to score.
Oh, saw Besto's head drop as the umpire throws it back in now. Charging through there was Jackson. Bajramov, he tried to break 3 tackles, and the umpire's not going to pay holding the ball on that one. Ringwood players were like, well, you do it every other time. But we were a quick start here.
31-1 now at Cherry Road. The Tigers have heard Brash's whack, and they're coming out.
Jackson, clearing kick right near the Ringwood dugout, and over she goes for a boundary throw-in.
Well, we might get 2 cents more worth. Was that on the full, Brett?
Oh, it's on
I was just going to say, I didn't want to belabor the point, but that was definitely on the full for mine.
Yeah, it looked like it from here. But at ground level, ball taken by Jackson. He's kick smothered where he tried to get outside defensive 50. They're at least got some numbers. Parker's getting involved close to the boundary line.
That's deliberate.
Uses the close proximity of the boundary line to gain 20 without penalty.
That's not consistent there.
Well, yeah, no, that was deliberate as well. That was absolutely deliberate. He had 3 Heathmont blokes down
in the rugby, that'd be a great touch finder.
Yeah, scrum.
Boundary.
West Coast boundary side, Jared's down there.
Yeah, Lockie Perkis, we've got a bit of time. The ball's gone over the fence. Lockie Perkis, who was the perpetrator of the first deliberate, was absolutely livid that was not deliberate from the umpire there.
Good athleticism.
He's a gymnast.
Yeah, if is it on screen? Yeah, it is on screen. It's fantastic. Got over there in one bound, had to climb to get back out. But that was fantastic by the boundary umpire. No one else was helping. So it's Ringwood under a heap of pressure. Parker, quick hand pass, shares it to his teammate in Brown. Brown around the corner, luckily finds his teammate in Stagg. Down the line, another short. They're hugging the boundary line. That's the longest way home, but they've got it in hand through Hill.
And you spoke about Gab teams defend the corridor. Look at Heathmont's defensive setup. They're just, look at them all. And that, well, it's turned out okay for Ringwood, but the setup from Heathmont made them go down the line.
Jackson hands it on to a running teammate, all on the open. Goal flying shot at it is Blythe, and he misses to the right. So that kick was very dangerous. Never looked like getting to a Ringwood player, but it bounced and bounced.
It worked out in the end. I think Ringwood got what they wanted, but not by design, and Heathmont actually designed it well, but stuffed up the final moment. But you could see the defence was just corralling Ringwood to go down the line into the pocket.
Yeah, that's into time on at first term. Ringwood 1-2-8, trail on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Heathmont at 2-1-13.
Burley found Saboury, who'll get around on that familiar left boot, which is a sensational kick usually. Bouncing football, little whack away there by Whack, no pun intended on that time. He got it back that time. On the left, squeeze to kick and getting down low and taking it. There was his teammate in George, who goes out wide, out to Cairns. Cairns up towards the half-forward line, gave a little bit too much onto a roving after it was Jackson, but he couldn't quite trap it. Quirk was there to mop up the pieces for the Jets. Kick out towards the wing position into open space. The Redbacks do have the numbers there, a little fingertipper out, but nobody's there to support. Kick goes up towards the half-forward line, nicely done there by Molino. He was in position A. This way, that way. Oh, he saw a little bit of candy there. Beautiful. Kicks it up towards the Evans direction. He had two players there. He sat in the back and nearly went straight down his throat. Mopping it up, though, this time was Murphy. Had some time, had some space, had some poise, and it was a good kick too because Blythe took the mark, swings around on his left boot, got it away, and now the Redbacks are off to the races. They've got a spare player going up towards the half-forward line. If they want to use them, they can link now 55 metres out. The kick goes towards the top of the goal square looking for Farmer. He's just too strong. He's a superstar and pulls it in with the one big 10 metres out directly in front.
Roeville 5-3-33, North Ringwood the one behind. Is Trent Farm probably didn't need to shove Harry Isaac's head into the turf there, but nonetheless, I'm sure we'll find out more about it after the game.
He was being worn like a glove, though.
Yeah,
great mark.
I think most defenders wear you like a glove.
If it wasn't a mark, it would have been a free kick. But Farmer, all class, comes in and pokes it straight over the goal umpire's head. That's his first. And Ringwood hit the front for the first time here today on EFNL game day. It is 14-13 and Brett Beston's boundary side.
Yeah, great play in the lead up there, boys, by Jack Blythe. He's going to be a significant figure for Ringwood this afternoon. Being in top form, they tell me this year, and he really set that goal up.
I think, and Besto's right, that Blythe was crucial on that wing and he runs all day. But that comes back to Tom Molino. Took the mark at centre forward and got a bit fancy doing the tricks and the skills. He had 3 on 2 inside forward 50. Took too long and then kicked it to the one with 2 on him. And he had 2 free blokes and then Gav's turnover, went up the other end. And very good play by the Redbacks. But it all come back to Tom Molino. Needed to get it inside 50 quickly.
But he didn't spot up his teammate, and it's gone the other end, and it's now this time Jackson runs it out. Hand passes over the top again, running into the goals. Farmer might be on the end. It goes over his head, but he runs back to the pocket. Nearly going to be the first. There goes the bump and then the shepherd, and he allows Heathmont defenders to get to the ball. Luckily for them, the dumping kick, though, is to all Redback numbers. So plenty of time for Parker. Parker's got a short pass 60 metres out, finds his teammate. Now again, it's Jackson, who then spearing ball is too low for his intended marker, so it's a turnover ball as it hits the ground. Burley at half back has to take on Parker, runs around him like he's a witch's hat. Then he takes a bounce, tries to kick on his left. It must be his non-preferred because it went straight off the side and only 10 metres, and he'll run around him on the right side next time, I think.
I think Ringwood are just starting to get the game on their terms a little bit. The way that they're moving the ball, it's starting to really, it's starting to open Heathmont up a little bit.
Yeah, they're controlling the play. And speaking of controlling the play, ball and it's 7-1-43. Narrow Park one behind, 25-minute mark. I reckon the Tigers are back. I'd be interested to see if Jordan Lyles found his kicking boots as well in the break. He was 12-13 for the season before the break. So once he starts kicking straight.
So Burley's kick went out of bounds, so we had a resultant ball up and down, a ball in, now a ball up. McDonald's been tough to hold it up, and now some runs coming. Grierson shares it. Now the ball inside, chopped off by Cairns. He holds up at centre back. A long 30-metre sweeping hand pass, now a 20-metre sideways by Hill, and they're off and racing now. It's Wack, who at half forward's got a metre on his opponent, puts it in the hot spot, 30 out, bouncing ball left behind by Farmer, and Heathmont are able to butter up. Burley's on the outside in the back pocket to take the mark. He hasn't, well, I'm not sure if he's got a left foot because the last time he used it, it didn't go well for him.
I think his brother Joel's a left footer, so Ryan must be the other side.
And his right foot this time traverses the arena, goes from one back pocket to the other. Now they're on the outer side. Heathmont, a good switch. It's in the hands of Ambrose. Ambrose has got a wing kick and it's gone over the head of his teammate and it's out of bounds and Evans looks forlorn.
Wasted opportunity there for Heathmont.
But they actually did it really, really well. Like the switch was perfect. It's just that skill because Ringwood's defence is all the way over here and it's such a big ground. If you can switch well, you will catch them out.
So 25, almost 26 minutes gone here in the first term. 1 point the difference, and it is Ringwood leading by that solitary point. Little pirouette there by Ambrose, but he was stripped of the football. Here's the last, another go. Callanan on the right boot, drives the ball up towards the Farmer direction. He got 1 min on it. Oh, overrunning the football that time. There was Hill. Little toe poke off the ground there by the Heathmont backs, but straight into the arms of Parker, who just chips it over the top, and that was a smart one too. He just sat it up perfectly to run into space. And now,
well weighted.
That's what the term I was looking for. Thank you very much, Matthew. As they'll probably have a shot almost on the siren here, you would think, Ringwood, and ball's in the arms of Paddy Burmeister, who we know will get the distance here.
Just quickly, Doncaster 3-1-19 leading Norwood 4 behinds.
Oh, the Sharks ready to attack.
Berwick 2-2-14, Doncaster East yet to score.
Patrick Burmeister. We're right behind him here. And on cue, he kicks it on the siren and he weights it magnificently and he squeezes it in. So Ringwood they started off slowly in that first turn, but they certainly came home with the bacon, and at quarter time they lead by 7 points, 3-2-20 to 2-1-13, the Heathmont side in the Parker Family Cup today. Burmeister has one goal, as does George, as does a Trent Farmer, and on the other side it is Hansen who's got the goal for them, and also it was Bajramov as well. So hope you're enjoying the broadcast on the SEN app and of course 98.1 Radio Eastern, on Facebook, on YouTube. It's all here today, and we're enjoying it so far. Football's back, and we'll be back right after this.
And you're clear. We've got 4 minutes.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funerals' Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate, complete offset on fixed and variable loans, and a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He's circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland, proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Mike's on.
Welcome back out to Jubilee Park this afternoon. It's EFNL game day, and it's a great clash, and it's a famous clash as well. It's the Parker Family Cup between Ringwood and Heathmont, and it's the home side leading at quarter time, 3-2-20 to 2-1-13. Let's hear some more scores from around the grounds.
Yep, deep breath, everyone. We're back. Ball went 7-1-43, led Noble Park 2 behind. So the Tigers back in action, and out at Whitehorse, it's East Burwood 6-1-37 to the Pioneers 1 behind. So a couple of sides a bit rusty after the break. Doncaster 3-1-19 lead Norwood 4 behinds. Rowville 5-3-33 lead North Ringwood 1 behind. No score from Vermont South Croydon, although they are live streaming it via an iPad. So I don't think it's the greatest footage, but it is being live streamed. Berwick 2-2-14. Doncaster yet to score. The only score from Division 1 is East Ringwood 6-1-37 to Croydon 2-2-14. Ringwood and Heathmont, we're here. That's the only score updated in Division 2. In Division 3, it's still a draw. Scoresman Glen Waverley can't separate them this year. A draw in round 1, and it's 1-3-9 apiece at the moment. And Ferntree Gully 2-3-15 lead Fair Park 2 straight 12. So a good start from Fair Park. And the Division 4 score we've got coming in. Croydon North Emlock Brash 3 straight 18. Churnside 2-2-14 as we cross down to Brett Beston.
Thanks, boys. I've got Brett Roach there. Brett Rowe, the Ringwood coach down here. Brett, a pretty good first quarter considering you probably shaped the cobwebs up after a couple of weeks of no footy.
Oh, yeah, look, I thought we could have started better. I thought we were a bit rough around the edges with the boys, but I guess it's probably going to happen when you have 3 weeks off. But I think in that second half of that quarter, I think we probably studied a bit more ascendancy, started to win the ball a bit in tighter, and it gave our forwards a good look at it.
Yeah, I was going to say the second half of the quarter, you seem to get the ball forward. You seem to have your forward structures working a little better for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a bit of confusion early doors when DJ just had to go off with our ruck, so we had to fix up our forward line better. But yeah, absolutely. We know that it's going to be a great challenge for us when we go forward, and so we think we can exploit them when we win that ball. So yeah, we want to keep moving and getting that ball forward as best can.
And more of the same for the second quarter. I don't want to give all your secrets away, but I heard you say you're going to put a bit of work into Burley at the stoppages, a set of clearances.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, he's an important player for them. We just wanted to be aware of him just around the stoppages and make sure that we've got control of him there. And then as a general play, we just take control from there.
Good stuff. Good luck.
Good stuff there, Brett Beston with Brett Rowe. Let's go for some more scores.
Couple more scores before we go down to Jared. Montrose 2-2-14 lead Bayswater 5 behinds, and Mooroolbark 5-1-31 lead Ludale 1-1-7.
Little kick off the ground by Perkis for Heathmont. Kicked it up towards the half forward line. Giving a little nudge out there was Perkis because he chased after his own football. Collier was there, got the handball away. Perkis is going to go after it again here. This could be one of the goals of the year if he could pick it up. He got the handball away. It just like time stopped there. Kick goes goalward and just hits the post almost, I think, going through. And Heathmont, well, all of a sudden that was pretty quick, and they've got the first score in this second term, 2-2-14. They trail by 8 points on the Bendigo back scoreboard, but the kick was chopped off. It's a very dangerous around here, but Ringwood look like they've got the numbers. Diving on top of it though, Hansen, he's going to scream for the free kick here, and the umpire's going to ball it up. Let's cross down boundary side to Jared Beanland.
Yeah, Nick Rutley was very happy with that first quarter from Heathmont. They just want to control the ball in the defensive half a little bit more for this quarter and then start to run and gun once they hit the wing.
So across the half forward line for Heathmont, but it'll be the Redbacks through Jackson getting a nice link up handball to whack up towards the half forward line now for them. Savoury charges after it. He's a tank, and he's asking for the free kick as well, and over she goes for a boundary throw in. Let's return to boundary side.
A little bit more on Nick Rutley's message. He was also wanting them to focus on spreading Ringwood's defence so they can open them up, and due to the wide dimensions of this ground, he reckons that they can split them, and go from there.
That was exactly what I was thinking throughout that first quarter there, towards the end of that first quarter. That's exactly what Ringwood were doing.
And that's what Heathmont did that one time, but then they managed to kick it out in the full.
Jordan off, big fist away that time, barging his way through was Burley, had one arm trapped, he hits the deck, and the umpire will ball this up, and Gav Casey will take it away.
So it's good to have Jordan off back in the action. He's going to take front position, tries to slap it forward, but in his attempt, he got front position and earned himself a free kick because he got dragged off in the rucking contest. So from 60 metres out, he's looking at options. It's a crowded forward line, so he go deep. The flying option will be Farmer. He doesn't get to take off at ground level. He might get onto the ball. He has to be the tackler. His second one in, but it falls out of the tackle. And now it's a spilled ball and it's a push that'll go the way of Heathmont. It was a bit ferocious, and they're attacking the tackler in Callanan. I So it's a yellow card. No, I'll just get the name right because now there's a yellow card.
I think it's Mitch Farmer.
Is it Mitch Farmer?
Yeah, so a sling tackle this year, and all clubs are told this at the start of the first few rounds, any sling tackle that's deemed dangerous is an immediate yellow card. So it's not...
How many minutes?
Is it 10 or 15? I should probably know this. I think it's 15. But yeah, I think that's just a ruling this year to protect the head. It's nothing against Mitch there.
And he gets replaced as well. So Ringwood are not in position for 10 minutes. He's replaced by George. But it's Heathmont with ball in the hand. Burley, Joel's got it. And he is a left footer. Tries to run on his left. He just runs straight into the man of the mark. Gets it back. Has to hand pass it because he's been crowded. Savoury goes around the corner at half back. Not looking. And the kick's been chopped off by Jordan off on the wing. Who looks inboard. If they can take the next mark, there might be some sprint work as the mark's been taken quickly by Warren. Warren goes even wider. It's dangerous across the goal as Ringwood under a heap of pressure. Charging in was McDonald head first. I don't know where he knew if the ball was there, but he caused 10 pins to fly, and eventually a free kick went to his teammate in Hanson, who got over the ball and he's found a pass inside 50. Mark taken as it all settles down with Molino.
Again, that's another one where Ringwood were actually doing the right thing, Brash.
Yeah, they were.
It was just skill execution, and it lets the opposition into it. So I think once either team starts getting their kicking efficiency up, they look like they're both trying to do the same thing.
So it's Thomas Molino from the right pocket. It's a bit of a dead pocket for scoring normally. It's in a very acute angle.
I don't think he'll have the journey.
It's about more than 50 degrees of angle, and he puts it to the right post. It's bending through the middle, nice, and that's a premier goal from Thomas Molino as he's on the board for Heathmont, and it's all tied up here at Jubilee Park. Ringwood 3-2-20, Heathmont 3-2-20, 4.5 minutes, second term of this Division 2 game.
With both sides being really rusty, and skill errors are still very prominent early in this game. Both sides are really still struggling to hit their targets on a consistent basis. But I think as the game progresses, and more open play, I can see this game really starting to open up even more.
And I've still got 110 points in the bank. But I think every goal's come from turnover for either side. And that's what Brash is saying. They're a bit rusty and both sides play a high-pressure game.
Nice strip by Mitchell. For Mitchell Jackson, gets it forward now for Ringwood. It bursts out forward and it bounces to Hill. Hill looks for the short pass to Farmer. Farmer has to go down on his hands and knees to grasp the ball 30 metres out from goal, and he's tackled, or he becomes the tackler in the end. And it'll be a ball up 20 metres from Ringwood's goal. Let's get more scores around the grounds in just a moment. There might be some action. Punched out by Evans. And now it's Jackson doing some great work as Ringwood pop a ball to the top of the goal square. Underneath it, it's a couple of flyers. Farmers can't get in it, and it's a good mark by the defender. And settling there was Isaac. He's got a short pass on to his running teammate in Van Leeuwen. Van Leeuwen goes to the outer side now. Bouncing ball gets to Brown. Brown traps it, goes inboard where he's got some numbers on their own, including Ryan Burley. And he's a right footer. I think I'll just get my grasp on which is which. Yep, he's the right footer out of the brothers, and he's got a short pass that finds the target. And now they'll get out of their defensive 50 area. A nice pass to Brown on the wing, leading up. Well, there's another short pass. If it slows down, we'll get more scores. I know Eager.
I'll spit it out. Mulgrave 3-2-20, Templestowe 1-3-9. There, we're done.
Oh, is that it? No, okay. It's going to give you more airtime if we could, because everyone's going to be interested in what's going around the grounds. We've had a 3-week break. We've found now it's back in fifth side 50, and Heathmont might hit the lead as a great marking option is Badramov. This time he's a lead, got 2 metres on his defender and took it on the chest 40 metres out.
Well, you've been crying out for kicking efficiency, Brush. That was the best build-up of play we've seen all day. That was about 15 efficient disposals, worked their way up the ground. Finn Brown has added playing further up the ground to his game. We've known him as a deep forward, but with Badramov and Hansen, he's able to roam around and he's done well.
So he's kicked 1 today, 8 before starting today. So this lining up for his 10th for the season, Badramov. They share the load at Heathmont, and he's kicked it straight in the man of the mark. He tried to get the distance. He got 3 metres away from the man of the mark, and he jumped and spoiled. So Ringwood turn it over to half back. Have they got some runners with a looping hand pass? Gets to Collier. Collier shares it, and now they run, but it's all drifting back. It's the Jets who have got all the numbers at centre half back, and it finally goes out to Isaacs. Isaacs just wields a long right footer to the wing. Picking it up is Collier after he was in a marking attempt. His ball trying to find Jackson at half forward. It's been intercepted. And Heathmont doing well at half back.
They're out here.
Burley gets it off to now the running teammate, and they are getting through Sheriff, and the ball gets to Badgeram off in the end. And the defender is looking at the umpire going, I don't know what he exactly did, but he pushed me out of the way, and Badgeram off took the mark.
Wade Van Leeuwen there, he had two bites of the cherry. The first time he went long down the line to a one-on-one. This time he lowered the ice, found Ryan Burley, and the runners came through, Brash, and the Jets are looking pretty good.
Scott Lang have a case for pushing the back?
I think he was sort of turned, but I don't think it was anything violent.
When they get the ball on their terms, Heathmont are as good as any side in this competition.
This time it goes over the man on the mark, and it goes over the goal umpire's head as well, and it's a goal for Heathmont. Badgeram off second for the day, pushes it out to a 6-point lead for Heathmont. The visitors are 4-2-26, leading Ringwood 3-2-20. 8.5 minutes, second term.
Once again, Ryan Burley was prominent there with that actual Shepherd handball that allowed the run through that midfield there, Matt.
Well, yeah, and a less intelligent player would wheel onto his right foot. As we know, he's the right-footed one, and go through the corridor and kick long. But he had runners coming through, rather than slow and possibly prop like Molino did in the first quarter, he used the runners and got the one-on-one, because at the moment, the one-on-ones, Heathmont are winning them all down there with those three forwards, and a score around the ground, Wanturn to South 6-3-39. The Tiger train the wheels might be coming off, BWS 1-1-7.
Oh, the merchandise will be available again as it comes up towards the half-forward line for Ringwood. But I tell you what, the Jets, haven't they started well again in this second term? Kick up towards the half-forward line, out in front, taking the mark there was Hansen. He kicked a goal in the first term, spears the ball low inside forward 50, but to no avail. Getting back to Parker, takes the mark, backwards to go forwards just to create some space here for the Redbacks as the kick gets out of that danger zone up towards the wing position. Fist over the back there by Van Leeuwen. Did really well, and they had the numbers and support here, the Jets. A kick up towards centre half forward. They'll switch it out wide because they've got the run out here in Brown, it is Quirk on the right boot. He got dumped after he kicked it to Molino, was out in front, who takes the mark, and he's just going to pop it over the top, and that is just way too easy. And out in front is Ryan Burley, who will have a ping. It's a difficult angle, tugged up pretty close to the boundary line here. It'd be handy if he was a left footer, but he'll go back and have a shot on goals. And I'll tell you what, this would be three quick ones in the space of only the first 9 or 10 minutes.
They're working harder, Brash. Like that's as BWS said, that's just pretty lazy from Ringwood. Burley's the best player on the ground. They've just let him float into the pocket.
Kick from 45 metres, getting a few Bronx cheers behind him. Oh, that is a magnificent kick. It never looked like missing when it left the boot. Burley gets his first of the afternoon. That's 3 in the trot now for the Heathmont Jets, and they open themselves up to a pretty handy lead of 2 goals, 5-2-32 to Ringwood 3-2-20.
Brett Rowe has identified that Ryan Burley's the person that they've got to stop, but unfortunately, aerobically, he is really challenging Ringwood at the moment, and I don't think they've got a player to put on him.
Well, he made his name as a hard-running wingman half-back who can run all day, and now they've thrown him in the middle to get his hands on the footy, and as you said there, I don't know if they've put someone on him, but they might need to, because he would have had 15 touches and now he's kicked a goal.
Geez, that was a good kick.
It was and their kicking's been good ever since Brash said the kicking's been woeful.
Straight out of the middle into Mitch Farmer's hands. He marks it 45 metres out. He's talking about the man on the mark, so he dodges and runs around him. And from 40 now, he lines it up and he just misses. So he did a lot of work, distracted the man on the mark by talking to the umpire, then runs around him, and from 40, he just hooked it a little bit.
Couldn't get the angle of the dangle.
Well, he couldn't, and it's a hard angle from that dangle. But Farmer's kicking's always been the only thing that lets him down. But to Ray Baird, who told me this game wouldn't be worth calling, this has been an absolute rip snorter so far.
Kick by Burley goes long out to the outer side, and it's another kick in hand with Sheriff, who's played all right so far. He goes long to the wing. It's a contest with Collier, as the taller man is all over the back of his opponent. And it's now Heathmont playing it to Badgeram. Badgeram at half forward, 60 metres out, not within scoring distance from the left flank. He pops it up to about 20 metre hotspot. Brown's underneath it. Ringwood have got the numbers off the ground. It was a nice soccer effort. But Hansen, he just was improvising, and with the left boot, he misses to the right. And it would not the back of the net, unfortunately, for Heathmont, but they stretched their lead back to 2 goals, 12 and a half minutes second term.
Heathmont are really showing a lot more poise early in this second quarter.
How are they moving the ball so freely against this Ringwood team?
I know.
Well, they'll get a chance to do it their own way now as the kick is along the wing position, and they've made pretty good movement up towards the half-forward line they go. And Trent Farmer, who just, he almost marks everything that comes his way. On the left boot, he's going to drive it really close to the paint, as you can hear Brucey in the background. Out of bounds to the full.
Special comments?
Boundary.
Let's cross down boundary side to Jared Beanland.
Yeah, you could see on that kick there was a bit of crosswind coming across the ground. It has stayed pretty consistent throughout the day and might continue to make an impact.
Well, it just popped it up there for the kick out of that zone, and a little step ladder styles. Farmer takes the mark, and Farmer is screaming for 25. He's just trying to be a little bit cheeky there, is Trent, as he slams it on his boot. It was a shocking kick. He let himself down there, Banlieue, and takes the mark.
That's twice that Trent Farmer's been trying to play the con on the umpire for the extra 25, and it's not worked.
And that's about the 4th time Van Leeuwen's taken intercept mark this quarter.
Well, they did it the hard way, the Jets, but they did get it out towards the wing position here, and standing in front and doing it well and roving it was Langdon. Up towards the half-forward line now. The kick didn't hit the target. It looked like some little bit of holding was on Hansen there, and the umpire did.
Which way is it going?
Yeah, it was Hansen.
Ball in 52, Noel Park 9.
As the kick goes inside forward 50 over the back there, and almost sat perfectly for Young, and he got wrapped up.
Vermont 2-1-13, South Croydon 2 straight 12, and Donny East 1 straight to Berwick 3-4.
They're on the board. So the umpire throws it up now, straight down the throat that time there of George. A little handball over the top is McCann. He'll go after it. Did pretty well. In fact, it was whacked that time. As it comes barging his way through, there was Hansen. That was good play. Got it to Evans. He'll go back towards his teammate, flick it outside there, looking for Burley, who's going to run onto it. He trapped it well at high speed as well. Got it back to Evans, who gave the don't argue, threw it away. He's thrown that to Burley. Burley said, I'll take that throw and I'll have a ping. And he comes it back, and it swung and it hit the pine. 3/4 away up. So one behind is to the Heathmont side. I tell you what, that was just flying back to go through, and that would have been a gift as well. So they didn't deserve a goal because it should have been a free kick. 3.5 minutes gone. Sorry, Brash. It's a 13-point margin to Heathmont.
But at least Heathmont are really committed to the contest here. They're throwing numbers at every contest.
So Ryan Burley got the right-footed goal from the pocket. Joel hit the post, but now it's in the hands of Hansen. On the boundary line, he's kicked it out of bounds from 50, where the boundary meets the arc. He's had a pop at it, and the umpire's calling it back for him being out of bounds. So lucky enough, it's going to be a ball in rather than a free kick to Ringwood for the Jets.
Couple around this ground scores. The Basin 4-4-28, Knox 1-5-11. Baronia 1 behind, South Belgrave 1-5-11.
Ugly.
Out of Tormore, our favourite ground. It's a bit windy there today.
You think?
Absolutely. Donvale 2 straight 12, Waverley Blues 1 behind. Scoresby 2-8-20, Glen Waverley 1-3-9. And in Division 4 it's a few scores. Forest Hill 10-7-67 to Nunawading 1-4-10. Churnside have hit the front 5-3-33 to 3 straight 18, and Surrey Park 4-2-26 to Sylvan yet to score.
Shout out to Brad Henderson. We did a commentary game on the scaffolding at Tormore Reserve. It was so windy. I
remember that.
The scaffolding.
I was
I do.
scared of falling off. I was literally fearful for my life.
I remember that.
Eastfield 56, Whitehorse 128.
You weren't on the scaffolding, were you, Brash?
No.
He was holding it up.
No, definitely not.
I won't say anything. But yes, I could have blown off because of being such a lightweight. I could have been blown off. Never to be seen again. Tormore. It's great ground with the mountains in the background. Here we are at Ringwood, where Mitch Farmer again takes the mark on the wing.
Don't be facetious.
As it's a kick out of bounds. Why is every kick on this? There's got to be a small bit of wind affecting the players.
It's 2 times Trent Farmer's kicked the ball before.
Heathmont doctor. His kicking's been poor, Brash Trent Farmer, but he is starting to take a few marks, and that'll worry Nick Rutley because Harry Isaacs is a young man and Trent Farmer's an absolute gun as we go down to Besto.
Yeah, there definitely is a bit of a crosswind. When we started off, it didn't seem to be much, but it's not exactly a gale, but it just sort of gets out from time to time, and it is just carrying the ball towards the side.
Yeah, and Heathmont have done well to keep it in hand, and Ringwood are just playing a bit of zone, trying to trap it in for this next kick to the half back line, and that's gone out of bounds. So I reckon he tried for 5 metres inbounds and it's just floated its way out of bounds. There's a turnover kick going to Ringwood.
Look at Farmer and Isaacs now, like he's just too big for him.
If this kick goes out of bounds on the full, it's a gale.
So Parker, he's kicked it to centre forward. If this goes out in the full, there's a definite wind, but it's not this time. It goes towards the boundary line, funny enough, and it's a contest where 5 or 6 just fall over each other, and it's like a game of Twister without the mat out, and it's just they're falling over each other as they tangle arms and legs, and it's going to be a ball up in the pocket.
Gee, I hated that game.
It's now Farmer takes it out of the ruck, almost like Tom Hawkins, but he couldn't get the kick on the ball, and it's Burley kicking it from one pocket to the other, and that's got to be deliberate because there's not a player in sight, and it's been called.
Oh,
Good umpiring.
Nah, on with Gab. That's what he was doing, Brash.
Oh, no.
What's he doing here?
He's kicking the ball out of defence.
Yeah, to the other defensive pocket. Where else is he going?
Where the Heathmont player was running to.
Oh, Usain Bolt might have got there. I don't know.
I would have got there.
I don't know how quick Davo's son is, but
Zach Cullinan from the pocket, left footer, beautiful pocket for it, and he's kicked down the full, the same pocket he's in.
It did look good off the boot.
Oh, he looked confident as well. Sucked in, big time.
We're going well, aren't we?
That was good. That was really good.
This is a record amount of out in the fulls. They were talking about that last night. It's like it's the Skilled Stadium and Jubilee Park, something in common.
They're big grounds.
So the kick goes out by Burley. It's still across that half forward line. Callanan on hands and knees. The umpire will come in and ball this one up. 18, make that 19 minutes gone here in the second term on EFNL game day. It's a 13-point margin the way of the Heathmont Jets, who have really come out to play in this second term after trailing a quarter time. Getting a handball away there was McDonald just in the nick of time, and now it's going to be trapped there by Zach Callanan. Couldn't quite pick the ball up, and then paddling it forward, trying to barge their way through. It's good umpiring just to let the ball go in the end. As it comes out, it might fall in the arms there of Mitch Farmer, who just got stripped of it. Umpire said play on, little knock on there by Blythe. That's okay. Now they might find some space here in George. He goes backwards. That's okay. And now the Redbacks drive the ball inside forward 50. Farmer was in there. Over the back there also too was Burmeister, but mopped up nicely there by Van Leeuwen, who's gone. Hospital handball. Hill is going to be the recipient.
It's Farmer,
and
isn't
Farmer, well, they did it in tandem, but Hill I would have thought was the main boy there.
Well, Trent's going at about 12% today, so...
Yeah, if Trent had got it, that was a little bear hug over the back of the...
Well, it happened. Did it happen on last night or might have been the week before? I swear Tom Hawkins and Isaac Smith both laid a tackle, and Smith just ran off and let Hawkins take him from about 60 out.
So, Hill, awkward approach, but gets the result. That's exactly what you want, and that's just what the doctor ordered here for the Ringwood side. And like they did in the first term, when it hit the 10-minute mark, that's when they switched their engines on. So Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 4-3-27. They trail by 7 points. The Jets, whose engines have been purring so far in this second term, 5-4-34.
You read my mind bit, Arias. I was about to say before that goal that, yeah, this is exactly like the first quarter. Heathmont had all the play, and then Ringwood seemed to settle, and it's very important that the Jets weather the storm, and they weathered it for so long, and then that very awkward-looking goal is what Ringwood deserved.
So it's back in the middle of Jubilee Park. 7-point lead for Heathmont. Last goal goes to Hill for Ringwood, and they try to get it out of the middle. It's a huge contest. Picking up the ball was McDonald. Hands it off to the runner. Sheriff's been running well off half back. The bouncing ball to Brown. Brown gets it over to Sheriff again. Sheriff next thumbs at half forward. His kick inside 50. Bouncing ball towards Berdramoff. Defender right on his hammer. So it's Ringwood getting some numbers back. Kick across goals. Very dangerous as Burley gets his hand on it. And the defender's on a heap of chuppers. Whack just throws it away with a hand pass in the middle of the forward line for Heathmont. And the umpire said holding the ball as the Heathmont players jump on the ball.
Now he was stiff, probably not to get a free kick, but he threw his head into it to get the free.
And then once you do that, that's power opportunity.
So is Warren getting the kick transitionally to the back pocket. Now goes to the wing, where this time it's Blythe. Blythe goes inboard, finds Jackson. Jackson goes further out wide, running over the head of his teammate in Burmeister, and Burmeister was loping after it and went out of bounds at half forward.
A couple of scores, Doncaster and Norwood, 4-1-25 Doncaster, Norwood 6 behinds, Rowville 5-10-40, North Ringwood 3-6-24, Vermont and South Croydon still 1 point to Vermont. Berwick and Doncaster East, the scores have changed around, so I don't know whether this is correct or the last one was correct. It's now 117 Berwick, Doncaster East 35-23.
Oh, that's the right score.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the right score, I reckon.
Is that because you tipped them?
Yes.
Kick goes out and up and under one. Grierson takes it in the sun. And they'll be worked their way through the middle of the ground. It was a short pass, but Wack got down low, passed it on, and a good run here. They might get to go all the way. A little push in the back. The umpire said it was okay. Handball over the top. Van Leeuwen's had a good game for the Jets in the back half. Handball now at Isaacs, out towards the wing position, getting in front. That was well worked to the front there by Michael Grierson, who's going to swing around again. There's a lot of moustaches out there today as the kick goes up towards the half forward line. Jackson took the mark and then took off. He kicks it to the top of the goal square. Who's going to get underneath this one? Jordan off. He had eyes only for the football, the big man, and he pulled it in. He hit the deck, but he'll go back and have a shot from only 15 metres out at 45-degree angle.
And he outpositioned Savoury very well there, because that and he manoeuvred him gently out of the contest.
As
the
BT
space.
would say, protected the drop zone.
Oh yeah, the drop zone.
That's what they call it.
Wowee.
Yeah.
And speaking of moustaches,
Dan Jordan off with a heavily strapped right calf. He'll come in now and just go bang. Too easy. He loved it as soon as he kicked it. That's a couple in a row now for Ringwood, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, 12.5 gone second term. It's back to a 1-point ball game in the Parker Family Cup. We've picked an absolute beauty. Hashtag just saying, Ray.
James Parker's been running up and down this wing really well for Ringwood, and that's twice. He hasn't ended up with the footy, but that's twice where he's been alone on this sort of pocket. And if the ball gets out the back, he's going to get an easy goal. So even though Jordanov took that mark, if he had dropped it, it would have fallen straight to Parker. So I think at the moment it's Caleb Quirk on him on this wing. He's just got to be careful.
It's almost like Ringwood have soaked up Heathmont's pressure, and then when it's ready for them to, they just hit back.
Well, it's that discussion we had pre-game about youth versus maturity, and the youth wins out for the first 15 minutes, and then when they get tired, the mature blokes step up.
Jordan taller than Evans, but Evans butters up at ground level, tries to beat a couple of tackles, hand passes it over, and now Burley long kick inside forward line, but it's the read of the play by Collier. Grierson, gives it to Jackson. Jackson now's got some runners. Burmeister, well, he's going after it. He might not be the first there. Thankfully, it's a teammate picking it up. Jordanov gets it into the spearing ball to Burmeister. This time, Tim, he on the bounce, couldn't take the mark, and it shared its way out to Langdon in defence to kick it at the half-back, and they find a teammate.
Never seen a ruckman get down so low so many times.
Evans.
That was a very good kick too.
Evans has got it half-back, goes further, wider, and there's 2v1, and the one of Heathmont's lucky to hold on to the ball in Burley, and he's been wrapped up in a tackle by Brown. This is Ringwood Stephen Brown.
Actually, coach will be happy with him, at least to create a stoppage there.
Absolutely. It was a great effort.
Yeah, Ryan Burley was second in line. He took it off the hands to make it a contest. Holding off the ball goes the way of Ringwood as the contest was about to spill out. Another short pass, leading option. Quirk was in the way like he was calling for it, and Burmeister, bemused, only has to man the mark. Quirk kicks it out where there's 5 Ringwood players in round 2 of Heathmont, but it's one of the two, Hanson, who's got the ball at half forward, kicks it towards Brown running forward from that contest, but also he had a teammate in Davidson, but he never had a look, and Ringwood have got all the numbers in the back half.
Heathmont players look tired, and they'll be very glad for that siren. They were just that last 5 minutes, Ringwood were running a lot quicker and for a lot longer.
Well, it's an entertaining game out here. One half of football has been played in the Parker Family Cup, and in each term it has been the Jets who've come out firing whilst the Redbacks finish it off and level the scores almost here. They trail by 1 solitary point here at half-time. The goal kickers on the ground for Ringwood. There is Hill, George, Burmeister and Farmer, whilst for Heathmont it is 2 to Barge, Ramov, 1 to Burley, Hanson and Molino. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on 98.1 Radio Eastland and of course the SEN app and YouTube and Facebook. We've got one half to go, and we'll bring you all those around the ground scores from all those important other fantastic games as you go local for your football from your homes today, and we'll be back right after this.
And you're clear, you've got 4 minutes.
19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funerals' Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate, complete offset on fixed and variable loans, and a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner? Broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman? Or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this 30. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. Yo, beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Mike's on.
Yes, welcome back to Jubilee Park, ladies and gentlemen. It's half-time here in the Parker Family Cup, and it's the Redbacks 5-3-33, trailing Heathmont 5-4-34. It's been an exciting game, and we'll just do a couple of scores around the grounds in the top 2 divisions before we talk to our boundary riders, Brett Beston and Jared Beanland. In Premier Division, it's Baldwin at half-time. They lead pretty comfortably 9-6-60 to Noble Park 3-5-23. The other scores, Doncaster 4-3-27 to Norwood 1-7-13. So the Wooders have got one through the big sticks. Rowville dominated the first quarter, but North Ringwood have come back into the game. It's 5-10-40 to 3-6-24. Vermont and South Croydon 2-1-13 to 2 straight 12, which I think is not that updated. And of course they are live streaming via an iPad on centre wing. And then Berwick 2-1-13, Doncaster East 3-8-26. And the scores that we've got from Division 1 at the moment, Croydon and East Ringwood still says 37-14. Wanturna South 39-7 was the quarter time score, and then from Bayswater and Montrose it was Bayswater 1-8-14 to Montrose 5-4-34, so the same amount of scoring shots. And Lilydale and Mooroolbark, it's Mooroolbark 12-5-77 leading Lilydale 2-1-13. Brett, Jared, you've been around the footy, given that you were standing pretty much where the ball was hovering for the first 15 minutes. What have you thought about this game? Because it's ebbed and flowed, and it's been quite exciting.
It has been quite exciting. Probably we were coming up and we were talking about the game, and we both just feel that probably the bigger bodies and maybe the experience of Ringwood might win out in the end. But both quarters have been quite similar. We had sort of Heathmont starting off quite well in both quarters, but then Ringwood came back and sort of dominated towards the back end of the quarter. And I just feel some of their key players are just starting to, they're not quite there yet, but they're starting to show a bit, like Trent Farmer. There's a couple of those, Greason's had a bit of it. Collier was in the game, Jackson as well. And these sorts of guys, and I think they're just starting to show that. I think as the game wears on, I just think they might start to get a bit on top, and that might be the key to Ringwood getting home.
Yeah, Trent Farmer, you're right. He was marking the footy a lot late in that second quarter. His kicking boots are still yet to be found.
Yeah, he's not kicking well, but he's getting up
his
there,
hand, and that's danger signs.
Exactly.
Jared?
Yeah, look, the poise that Heathmont showed earlier on in the second quarter especially seemed to evaporate under the Ringwood pressure as the quarter went on. And I think, as you guys pointed out, that is the factors of maturity versus youth definitely come into it. Yeah.
Absolutely. The key things that we've sort of noticed is Ryan Burley. I was just going to mention, been incredible. He's
been fantastic.
And his speed from the inside is what's making his play so exciting, because not only is he getting his hands on the footy, he's not then feeding it to others, which is probably the better thing to do. But when he's got space, he attacks that space and escapes, much like a good front rower or so on in rugby union or something. Best he sees a gap and he runs through it, and he's in the space, and because he's used to playing as an outside player, he's actually got quite the shoe on him. So he's been dynamic. Would you send someone to him?
Look, I think I would, to be honest. Brett Rowe was speaking at quarter time, and he did say that they needed to watch him around the stoppages, because he was obviously cutting it up a bit in the first half, but he's continued to, the first quarter, but he's continued to do that in the second quarter. I mean, the tagging one's always an interesting one, because some coaches don't like to tag. They don't like a hard tag. They might just put a man.
Just got to be wary of him, though. At least.
But they've certainly got to watch him, because he's the sort of guy. I mean, the game is close enough at the moment. What's happened to the scoreboard?
Just putting a bit of sponsors on. You got one right in front of you here, Besto.
So I have, but it's that close that a guy like Burley, if he gets going in the third quarter, he could be the catalyst that gets Heathmont home, because they're close enough if they're good enough.
Yeah. The same can be definitely said of some of Ringwood's players. Some of their marquee players, such as Jackson, Parker, especially on the wing, that could definitely be a danger for Heathmont. Maybe the same discussion needs to happen in the Heathmont camp about Parker as might happen in the Ringwood camp about Burley.
Yeah, Parker's been getting in good spots, and having played wing as a junior, and you listen to guys talk about Brad Hill and the like, that the wing's one of those jobs that when people are finding you and you're in the right spots, they think you're the best player in the comp, but sometimes you can get to that same spot and the ball just doesn't come. And I think Parker's been one that Heathmont are getting away with at the moment, because there's been a few times where he's been 30 metres out from goal unmarked and the ball hasn't come to him. Yeah. That's no fault of his own, but if they do start finding him in the second half, he could definitely have an impact, and he's shown some poise when he's got the hands on the footy, as has his compatriot Jack Blythe on the other side.
I was just going to mention Jack Blythe. Like, he's obviously been in terrific form, and he set up which goal was it? I can't remember, but it was one of the ones towards.
Would have been Trent Farmer's goal.
Yeah, Trent Farmer's goal in the lead up. He was largely significant, and the other guy that was he was good in the first quarter. He sort of drifted out of the game a wee bit, but he's still around the ball, and that's Daniel Collier. So with Blythe and Collier in there, if they can get some dominance and continue to get their dominance going, and as I said, if Farmer gets his hands on it, and some of the other key players, I mean, they're solid down back. Wax played well. I still think Ringwood are probably going to get up, but it's not a fait accompli, far from.
No, I know what you're saying, Besto. It's that thing where you're assuming Ringwood are eventually going to.
It's just a feeling, isn't there? Like, at the moment, if someone said to me, "Look, you have to put your life savings on one of these two sides," I just feel that the signs are there that Ringwood are starting to just dominate. But then, having said that, I mean, if Heathmont come out and blast away in the start of this quarter, because obviously the third quarter is the premiership quarter, as they call it, it could turn around. But for me, Ringwood just probably by a little bit at the moment.
Absolutely.
I feel like the Jets, they've got a lot of speed, and that did take Ringwood by surprise, definitely in their first game back in round 3. earlier in this game as well. So if they can find that speed again, maybe they can give the Redbacks a bit of a scare. However, I'd say that Ringwood can grind them down with that experience with the bigger bodies.
Absolutely. Well, let's do the other scores from the other divisions. So the Basin 8-6-54 lead Knox 1-7-13. So they'll pick up where they left off. Incredibly hard to score against the Basin. Mulgrave 7-5-47. Templestowe 7-5-47. So that's exciting for the Dockers. Could get their first win of the year. And Baronia trail South Belgrave 39-3. In Division 3, Whitehorse 3-4-22 trail Eastfield 9-2-56. Scoresby 4-8-32 lead Glen Waverley. Ferntree Gully lead Fair Park by 3 goals. And Donvale lead Waverley Blues 18-13. And then finally in Division 4, the updated scores that we've got were all the same from earlier. It's Forest Hill, Churnside Park and Surrey Park in the lead, and we can only assume Coldstream. Brett and Jared, thanks for joining me. We'll send you back down to the boundary line for what should be a ripping second half, and on the other side of this break we'll have all the action from that second half.
And you're clear, you've got 4 minutes.
It's from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout him a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funeral's latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funeral's Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate, complete offset on fixed and variable loans, and a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner, close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner, close to home.
30 seconds.
And 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. You beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland, live real.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Mike's on.
Welcome back out to Jubilee Park today for the Parker Family Cup, and what a game we are seeing. It's only 1 point the difference out here, and it's the away side, Heathmont, who got the first points on the board as far as Parker Family Cups go earlier on in the season in the night game, and they hold sway at the moment. Let's cross down boundary side to Brett Beston.
Ringwood coach Brett Rowe with us. Brett, it's a tight old contest.
Oh, look, you expect nothing different when we play Heathmont. You know, it's a great rivalry, and this is what we're expecting. So, absolutely.
We felt the two quarters were quite similar. Heathmont sort of had the better of the first half of both quarters, if that makes sense, and then you guys sort of got into the back half of both quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. We spoke about that. We were a bit concerned about our work rate at the start of both quarters. Then we were able to lift our work rate around the ground, around the contest, and then it was giving us a good look forward again. We started to lower our eyes, which is something we're really good at, and I think early doors we were just getting the ball and just blazing away. So we're hoping to, as we move forward, get that ball going, that we'll continue to keep lowering our eyes.
I know you spoke about putting some extra work into Ryan Burley after the first quarter. He continued to play pretty well in the second quarter. Are you looking at changing things up there?
Oh, no, we'll still pay him the due respect that he deserves. I said he's a very good player, and these sort of players, you can probably keep them quiet for a little bit, but then they do tend to go off the leash. So we've just got to work together as a group and try to slow him down as best we can.
And just quickly on the plus side for you guys, I felt some of your key players started to come into the game in that second quarter. The likes of Collier, Blythe was very good. Trent starting to look a little bit dominant up forward as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We started to win inboard in the middle a bit more. I said we're breaking even in the middle. So, Jack always good on the wing, and D. Cole just gives us that grunt inside the ball. And obviously, if we can get Trent one out, he's got a great contest with him with Harry Isaac. So, if we can find Trent one out, that's what we're after, and we'll see how it works.
Great stuff. Thanks for talking to us.
Always generous with his time, Brett Rowe. The more scores from around the grounds, Matthew?
Yeah, we've had a few more updated scores. So Vermont 7-6-48 lead South Croydon 7-2-44. In Division 1, it's East Ringwood by 30 points over Croydon, Park Orchards by 50 points over Upper Gully. Division 2, South Belgrade by 20 points over Boronia. The other ones haven't changed. Fair Park only 11 points behind Furniture Gully, and Donvale 5 straight lead Waverley Blues 4-2.
And it was Ringwood who won the first centre clearance, but it came back to the centre wing before another inside 50 attempt from the Redbacks goes awry. And Heathmont holding up nicely in defence. Sheriff's in defence as well. Burley's got it. Joel Burley goes across the ground, finds his teammate, and they're sharing it nicely from one back pocket to the next, keeping it in hand, but we're on defensive 50. And Burley's got it. Burley gets another short backwards. So it's about possession with Sheriff has it. And now Burley runs off, gets a hand pass. They've gone back to full back with a lot of possessions, but it's still under control for Heathmont. And now to the opposite pocket again, as it be Ambrose.
Ringwood have got him hemmed in though. The switch is there, but there wasn't a quick switch, Brash, which means the defence can just flow, which is why the Burley handball was actually a good one, because it encouraged his teammates to move it quicker.
And Harry Isaacs was talked about his matchup on Farmer.
Yeah.
Took the mark at the outer half back, and it's a kick to the outer half.
Good kick.
And inboard now, it's dangerous because the numbers are with the Ringwood team in Greece, and picking it up off the back of centre back, he goes to that half forward where all the numbers were for Heathmont, and it's evaporated as Ringwood go inside 50, and at ground level picked off by Jackson. Jackson runs and dribbles it towards goal, and it's a goal. He rove the pack. It was Mitchell Jackson, and he gets a dribbling effort from 35 metres out, and Ringwood are back in front early in the third term on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Ringwood 6-3-39 to leading Heathmont 5-4-34, and we'll go to Jared at ground level.
Hey, I've got Nick Rutley, the coach of Heathmont Jets here. Nick, how do you reckon the game's going to go from this point onwards? What was the message at halftime?
Yeah, just to get back to what we've been doing in the first 15 minutes of quarters. Obviously that wasn't ideal then, but the way we're moving the ball and being patient and then trying to get going once we get into our forward half is really important. Just getting back to our pressure, that's when we play our best footy.
And what were you happy with from the second quarter?
The way we started, the way we controlled the footy and sort of stopped Ringwood doing what they wanted to do, and they're a really good team, so as we see, it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be one of those games that probably goes to the last 5 because both brands of footy are really good, so we're enjoying the contest.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Langdon's got it for Heathmont. The coach will be happy with that, and he's short pass to Joel Burley. So Langdon at half-back just was a bit of a roadblock for Ringwood getting the centre clearance going their way. Now the kick down the line. It's been taken off Jordanoff's hands, and Cunningham picks it up for Heathmont and puts it inside 50, bounces towards Badgeromoff. He wasn't the intended, but a ground level Hansen. He runs into the ruck of players. Badgeromoff grabs it off him and hand passes to Finn Brown, and as he grasped it, he was grasped by two tacklers. So they were just running themselves, trying to get into space with Heathmont, but they were running into where the Ringwood players were.
They got lucky there, Heathmont. That Burley kick down the line. If Jordanoff jukes that, that's another tick for the Ringwood setup.
And a big tackle comes in, and it'll be another ball up 30 metres out from Heathmont's goal. So they've got Cunningham around there, but Badgeromoff calls for the ruck duties. He holds off his opponent, brings the ground level where it's a disputed ball. And now Burley again, hand passes just hopeful, and Badgeromoff was underneath it, but he was quickly tackled to ground by Scott Lang, and he wasn't letting him advance anywhere. So it's still 30 metres out.
But now it's good to see what Heathmont do with their setup. So it looks like it's Campbell Evans is sitting in corridor side of the wing about to kick off the play, and that's pretty much. So the sides that have been able to break through this is with quick ball movement out of defence, Brash. And we've seen Heathmont have been slow, and they've luckily got it inside forward 50. Let's see what Ringwood do if they get a chance.
So it's kick off the ground by Jordanoff underneath that rock contest. It's spilled down to ground level. Nice pick up on the bounce was Brown for Ringwood. He shares it out to his teammate in Warren. Warren goes across half back and finds his teammate in Blythe. Blythe goes to the outer wing, and it's opening up for Ringwood with Hill's hand. Hill goes to half forward and spearing ball finds George on the lead. George gets onto his right, goes in board, dangerous kick because Burley's there for Heathmont. He before gets tackled, hand passes it forward, and now Heathmont are running through the middle of the ground. Long kick, Badgeromoff in good position. Lang comes back to meet him, and the ball comes to the ground after a dropped effort by Badgeromoff under pressure. And now it's Ringwood trying to hold up deep in defence, and Cairns puts his head over it, and they finally work their way out of trouble to the Redbacks, and the kick finds Farmer running into the open. He goes from half back to wing, now spearing ball on the bounce, doesn't find his teammate there in Burmeister, so it's gone back to Heathmont getting the numbers back, and the tackle from Mitch Jackson holds up any repel from Heathmont, and it'll be a ball up 60 metres from goal.
The delivery style of Ringwood into their forward 50 has been really the only thing that's really let them down for most of the day, Matt.
They are trying to lower their eyes, like Brett Rose said, but they're probably just like, I think it's the way Heathmont's setting up. Both sides have set up very well behind the ball, as we've seen right there. Good tackle from Joel Burley. But the interesting thing was the way that Ringwood, and it wasn't by design, but the quick handball, the handball out of defence, but they had to rush and they had an overlap with Mitch Farmer, and like you said, it could have ended up in a goal.
So Burley was 1 against 2 on the wing, but he kept his feet and became the tackler, and he took the free kick for holding the ball. His kick was marked by Cunningham. Big, good jukes half forward, gets the Badgeromoff in the pocket, and again strong hands in front of his eyes, and he takes the mark 30 metres out on a 30-degree angle, and maybe he can put Heathmont back in front the 6-minute mark of the third term.
He's been very, very impressive. He's kicked the least amount of goals of Brown, Hansen and himself, but he extends at the ball there, Brash. He's a good, strong build. Like, he's got a good, strong core. He's moving around pretty well. I think that's 5 or 6 marks inside 50 today. He's clunking them.
One of his strengths has always been his overhead marking too.
Yeah, and if he can kick straight, it'll be his third, and he's been the most dominant forward on the ground, Gap.
He's kicked a goal in each of the first 2 terms, so he's got 2 on the board. His third will put Heathmont back in front. If he gets it, it's pulled to the left, just over the post.
Looked all right from here.
And it looked okay, and Ringwood had their own goal umpire working that on the line too. The defender was patting himself on the chest and gave the umpire a bit of guidance. So it's a minor score to Heathmont, 5-5-35, trailing Ringwood, who are 6-3-39. It's a 4-point game. 7 minutes gone at third term.
McDonald got it out to Blythe, who swings on his left out towards the wing position. Mark couldn't be taken at the fall of the ball. Jackson was there. He laid a strong tackle over the top of Burley, and we'll have a ball up. Pizza arrived after 7 hours. Guy asked for a tip. I said, get here quicker and read the instructions. So the umpire throws it up. Evans went up, didn't get the knockdown that time. It came out towards Jackson, out towards the George direction, and over she goes for a boundary throw-in.
Update from Wanturna South Mitcham. Tigers coming back into it, 9-4-58, Wanturna South. Mitcham 5-2-32.
High to bring the ball back in. Just forward of centre for
the Ringwood side, as Jordanoff did really well to take it out of the ruck contest and slam it on his boot inside forward 50 in the front spot. That time there was Hill. Ball still is kept alive. That's a paddle out. That is deliberate. Yeah, they've been pretty consistent with the deliberate today, and we must admit that.
North Ringwood have hit the front 6-6-42 to Roden 5-11-41. So the VFL players have gone home, Brash.
So comes up. Brown kicks it to the top of the goal square. Over the top of Farmer's head it goes. Nearly pulling in a good mark. There was George, still alive, barging his way through. There was Burmeister, brought to ground by his equal number in Brown. And the umpire said all was okay. We'll ball this one up 10 metres out from the Ringwood goal line, who lead by 4 points in the Parker Family Cup. What a game we are seeing this afternoon, as a fist by Evans went out. George couldn't quite trap it. A lot of players around this. Farmer tried to pick the ball up. He was brought to ground by Evans, who just loves the grass. And we will have another ball up.
If Heathmont get a wild kick out of here, it's going to fall straight into Ringwood arms.
Yeah.
You've got 3 blokes across half forward, and then Lang and looks like Grierson, another kick behind that.
Farmer tried to trap it. Instead, he trapped his opponent there. But Burmeister got stripped of the pill. Good play there by Grierson. Little handball away to Perkins, whose handball went out. This is good play here by Brown. Heathmont did well to get out of that danger zone and kick it up towards the wing position, but they do have the numbers, as Matt said. The Redbacks, little handball over the top. They'll link up here. Nicely done there, Collier. Got it away to Cairns, who got it away to Blythe. Blythe, little chip kick up towards the half-forward line. Jordanoff takes it, getting amongst it here in this third term. He takes off to the races, does Big Geordie. He kicks it long towards the top of the goal square. At the back there was Farmer. He goes after it again. He kicked it out of mid-air. It just goes up and under. He might be able to get it again, as it's knocked over the boundary line, and out she goes. Let's go to Jared Beanland, boundary side.
Yeah, there's a lot more depth in the Ringwood zone as what we've been used to see. What we've been used to seeing. Generally, they like to press up and create a lot of pressure on the ball carrier, but this time they're holding their depth and making sure that the kicks that are ill-directed are going to come right back into their forward 50.
So from the stoppage becomes another stoppage. And 9.5 minutes tick over in the third term. They call the Premiership quarter. Bendigo Bank scoreboard sees a 4-point lead to the Ringwood side. The home side, Farmer flicks it over the back that time. Going in after it was Burley. Evans was in there too. Brown, little quick kick out of the danger zone. It might have travelled the required distance. It did. Nicely done there by Bartramov. Got it away, brought to ground. Langdon in a strong tackle there by Charlie George. And we will have a ball up 55 metres out from goal.
Actually, both sides are really sensing the fact that the game is really on the line here, Matt.
Absolutely, and we did mention, though, if it's going to get trapped anywhere on the ground, it's going to be that pocket.
It's gone through hands and feet. The wobbly kick out finds its way to Brown for Heathmont, but there's still numbers for Ringwood pushing it forward. They're trying to Ringwood, but it's a contest for the ball still. The hand pass flips out, smothered kick there by Burley. So it bounces off the smuggler into the hands of Jackson. Now it's Parker. Parker gets it on the boot, and it's a big pack of players. All the players seem to be at half back for Heathmont, and it's in the hands of Burley. Shares the hand pass, and now long ball is going to be an outnumber again, and marking the ball for Ringwood is Tim Burmeister, and he can go out wide to another person all on his own in Cairns. Cairns can take a bounce in his own defensive area. He's already taken 2 bounces. He gets an overlap kick to the opposite half-back, and Blythe again, who was always on the end of those, it seems, on the outer side, and then it's found its way all the way forward, and it's been a turnover kick, because if the numbers are at one end all Ringwood, it's all Heathmont at the other, and Declan Brown takes a pass into his defensive 50 area. He looks at his options forward. He probably waits for players to spread forward as he goes further out wide, and under a heap of pressure. Wasn't a bad effort there by
Ringwood had Ryan Warren screaming for it twice in the corridor, Brash.
Yeah.
And they went across the ground, and I'm all for switching. But when you've got a man all on his own in the corridor, that could have easily gone straight up the guts, which we think is still the most direct route to goal.
How many times have Heathmont gone from one pocket to the other? Davidson was on the end of one and gave it over to Evans. Evans goes short, this time forwards. And it's now Heathmont just taking the time. Van Leeuwen, bit of tempo. Again, Hansen was good earlier kicking it forward from half-back, but he would want to be on the end of most of these kicks from half-back as he now loads up a long and high ball. It's a big contest. The Flyers, Badgermoff, not one of them, at ground level, roves the pack. He gets tackled but gets a hand pass to a teammate, and the kick goes forward, and his spike's still in. So Tim Burmeister's under a heap of pressure. He finds Blythe to be the kicker. Blythe puts it over long 50. Parker runs into his opponent in Hansen, and he's been bundled out of bounds at half-back, and it's a ball in. Heathmont are just getting it forward, but they don't have the numbers.
They got lucky there. They had to wait for Badgermoff and Brown to get back to create an option, and they got lucky by the fact that Ringwood had 3 men out there and Parker just turned into the one jet. So it's all signs are looking like Ringwood's about to run over the top of them, Brash, but they just can't quite do it yet.
So nice work by Cairns and George. George spills it out to his teammate in Farmer, and it's now spills its way out on the run. It's Grierson for Heathmont. He tries to burst out, but the numbers win out this time, and whacks his hand pass forward, and Blythe on the end of it from half back. Spears a nice pass to half forward, where it's Farmer over to the running Cullinan runs through centre half forward. Now the sprinting options have worked out because it's spread all the way to finding on his own is Stagg in the pocket.
They've been threatening for these types of plays, Ringwood, all quarter, and finally one's come off, created space, and allowed George to take a nice mark.
And I think Heathmont, they spent so much energy trying to lock the ball in and get the ball into their own forward half. As soon as Heathmont rebounded it, they were out in their legs.
40 metres out from 40-degree angle, it's Stagg, who's yet to score a goal, but his right foot is a wobbly one. It is bending, and it goes from midway from the right post and misses just by a metre right side. So it's a minor score for Ringwood, 6-5-41, leading by a goal over Heathmont, a 5-5-41 halfway through. 14 minutes gone in the third term.
Well, Jack Blythe's had leather poisoning on that outside wing this quarter. I think he's had nearly 10 to 12 possessions. They need to wind him
up. And the Redbacks, obviously, now that they're starting to open up the game, they are using that far side a bit more, knowing that probably Heathmont aren't set up to use it.
Burley went out to Savoury, who swings around on the left, little short pass, almost Van Leeuwen, but he had the time. Bangs it on his boot, it went very wide in the end. Is it being kept alive? No, it has not. Over she goes for a boundary throw in. Read your text, Besto.
I know there's only 5 points in it, Matt, but it almost seems like that on weight of numbers that Ringwood probably should be further in front in this quarter.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's a testament to Heathmont, and hopefully for Heathmont's sake and our sake that this game will, like in the first couple of quarters, ebb and flow. But I think right now Ringwood, they've got them by the scruff of the neck. They've got Heathmont where they want them. They just need to keep landing those killer blows, and as you said, the one thing that's let them down today has been that final ball inside forward 50.
Yep.
But yeah, and for Heathmont's sake, yeah, like I said, they just got to absorb the pressure, and then hopefully hit them when it hurts.
Staying alive now, they're trying to get themselves forward. Brought to ground was Cullen, and he should have been pinged there. He dropped the football, as did Heathmont as well, and then they get pinged. So
that's inconsistent, I'm afraid.
It's a bit stiff. There's no doubt about that, Brash. As the kick goes inside, deep inside forward 50 in the front spot, there was Farmer at the fall of the ball. There was Stagg around the body. Fantastic goal. Ringwood stretch their lead to 11 points on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. 16 minutes gone, third term.
And that's just a goal from repeat entries, isn't it, Brash? As you've said, they've basically dominated the territory this quarter. You'd probably say 80 to 20 in terms of percentages. And Stagg, good spot for a small forward. He might not get plenty of possessions, but if he kicks a goal every second touch, they'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, he's having a Stagg party. As he kicks the goal.
That's the first time all day that you've done one of those.
No, there's plenty you could do with Stagg.
Such as?
Well, there's Stagg chili.
Yummy.
There's the moose. Is it moose or deer?
Yeah,
horse?
Deer.
It's not a horse. You're using horns, Lee. Sorry, I'm just talking to the cameraman, as you do.
So the tap one by Heathmont. Collier at ground level, though, was good for Ringwood, and they burst forward.
Shouldn't talk with your mouth full, Lee.
As the kick goes out wider, right. And it's out of bounds at half forward for Ringwood as they get another centre clearance. It's Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Ringwood 7-4-46 leading Heathmont 5-5-35. Let's go boundary side. What do you got, Jared?
Sorry, they're antlers, not horns.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Jared, our moose expert. Ball in 61, Noah Park 42. So the Bulls have kicked the first 2 goals of the third quarter.
You were saying, Brash?
I almost feel, BWS, that if Ringwood get another goal and stretch it to a 3-goal lead, it'll start putting question marks in Heathmont's minds whether they've got the legs and the run to get back into the contest.
And I hate to do this to you, BWS, but Ray might have had a point. Rowville and North Ringwood all tied up, 48 apiece.
Care factor's below 0 on that one. As it comes out now, didn't matter where we were going, Ray would disagree. As the ball's in the hands of Burley.
Gee, I'm just happy to go to football, full stop. Doesn't matter where we went.
Donvale 43, Waverley Blues 33, Furniture Gully 40, Fair Park 20.
Yes, that's not the prettiest of games, is it? It comes out to Burley direction. Farmer was just there, you know. Just make him earn it that little bit extra. There's a few lean players for Heathmont, there's no doubt about that.
They're all young, aren't they? That natural, your metabolism's still flying.
Almost sound like it's scientific. You'll lose half our audience soon.
Well, metabolism's as scientific as it gets.
Okay.
We got a moose expert and a dietitian. As it comes out now, oh, nicely done there. Bargeramov, he takes off, he's going to kick it right to the hot spot. He didn't get enough purchase on that. There was nobody home, straight down the throat of Burmeister. More scores, Matt?
No, I was just saying Badgeramov probably need to go airborne there. The low spearing ball looks good, but when you've got 4 defenders just sitting there, you probably at least give your bloke a chance.
It's a nice kick out of that zone as it comes out, picked up there by Finn Brown. He'll get it back, a looping handball to Burley. It was a bit of a hospital handball. He was put under pressure. Well done there by his opponent in McCann, who went after it again. The umpire will ball this one up, centre half forward. Down Heathmont's end. They need the next one. It's quite clear that is the case as it comes out now. Nicely done there by Burmeister. Small, short passes on and found Callanan, who just very slowly, just happy to chip it over the top to Farmer of the Mitch variety. So Farmer spears it up towards centre half forward. They're doing this okay here at the moment. Ringwood really controlling the pace of the game. This way, that way. George swings it out wide. It was a good kick too. Stephen Brown, one of 3 Browns on the ground today, and the only one for Ringwood. The Egyptian tattoo on the bottom of his right shin, but it didn't help him that time. One of the gods, as he slammed it straight down the throat.
Come on, give me something to kick to, man.
He's screaming, isn't he?
Well, they've actually...
Yeah, man.
This is better because you've then got the option there at Davidson if you wanted him. But they've got to switch it, Brash, there. Like, just kicking it down the line is exactly what Ringwood wanted.
Grierson pops it over the top. Kick goes down towards the wing position. Once again, it just looks like they've got the numbers, Ringwood. McCann did well against McDonald, his opposing number 38, and will have a ball up. Bit of a lull in the last minute or so.
It's like when we talked at the start of the game, the Heathmont trying to possess it, to hold it, and Ringwood are just waiting for the mistake.
Yeah, it's a bit of rope-a-dope at the moment by Ringwood. They're just going to keep doing their thing, and eventually there'll be a mistake from Heathmont and they'll get a goal. What will seem like a very easy goal. It'll look easy, but it's come from all that work that's been put in now. And then, as you're saying, Brash, that'll make it 20 points.
Big fly that time there by Brown over the back. Here's Burley, got to look away, handballed. They've got to set themselves up here through the Jets as Bargeramov got the handball away, and then stripped of the football there was Burley of the Joel variety. It's still staying alive across the half forward line. Grierson, he got dispossessed, and the Ringwood fans were screaming for it.
Grierson had an absolute mare of a minute there. First he failed to shepherd for Joel Burley, who's the best kick in the team. Then he dispossessed him by accident and then got pinged for holding the ball.
Warren gets the kick from the tackle he applied. Now it's whack at centre half back, and they do like to go the switch on the outer side. Bouncing ball in the hands of Cairns. Cairns loops it over to Blythe, and he's always the next link in the chain, it seems, as they go forward. Farmer going back into the pack. Does Farmer, but he can't take the mark. Ground level ball is in dispute as Heathmont. Can they hold under all this pressure? Farmer goes in again. He's got no help. Spill ball by Evans as he tried to get it from back pocket and just bundle a kick forward, but he dropped it and it's out of bounds in the back pocket for Heathmont.
The crash and bang of Ringwood's bigger bodies, plus the fact they've almost gone into grind mode here, Ringwood, where they're not actually scoring, but they're putting so much body pressure on Heathmont. They're hoping to crack them that way.
Yeah, they're going to drain them, but also Ringwood, they're now switching with a bit more purpose. Like that kick into the middle from Warren was very, very good.
So it's Burley Joel who's going to pick it up on the ball, but because he had to put his head down, he's just waited for a tackle. The tackle's come in. It's gone for a long time, and Collier gets rewarded for Ringwood in the forward pocket. Burley had to put his head down to pick up an errant pass, and as he did, he just sort of stayed in position, and Collier just came over the top and wrapped him up. Hand pass has found its way to Farmer. Trent Farmer from 30. He was in the pocket. He runs into the centre corridor, and he hooks the kick because he was on an arc.
It's a point.
And
That's a point.
He's going to give that a goal, is he? Look at it. Look at the arms.
It's a point.
It's a point.
It's a point.
Come on, old mate.
I think the field umpire's got...
Yeah, it's going to overrule it.
He has to overrule this.
Yeah, it was definitely a point because otherwise Trent Farmer would be going up.
No! It's not a goal!
That's a point.
We're stunned.
Boundary.
We're stunned.
Besto, get out
Hang
there,
on, there's going to be a reverse. There's going to be a change.
Boys, seriously, that wasn't a goal.
Yeah.
That was absolutely ridiculous. It was a clear point. We were basically right behind it over here.
And even though they had a discussion at the goal line, the goal umpire said goal, and the field umpire said, that's not what we agreed on. And he's come back and said, you're changing it to a point. So people at home, it's a point to Ringwood. 7-5-47. They lead by 2 goals. I think that's what the score is.
On another point, that was Stagg's tackle for on Joel Burley. So as a small forward, you don't often get heaps of the footy brush, but so far this quarter he's had 2 shots on goal, kicked 1, and created another chance.
Molino drove the ball forward now for the Jets. Can they get the answer after almost a gimme was given away down the other end? Linking handball. This is okay. Here's Young stripped of the football, brought to ground. What a great tackle that was by Cairns. The umpire said no free kick as a scrambling kick that time by McCann, and then now it's up to the wing. Backwards to go forward. Savoury and eventually into the arms of Burley of the Ryan variety. He goes back as well. They're going to square things up and use the corridor this time as the kick goes down the throat there of Van Leeuwen, who took off and then put himself in a bit of trouble, but he got around in the nick of time and he thumps the ball inside forward 50. The big pack in shoes. Who's going to be front and centre? The knock on this time. It comes out the way there of Grierson. Got the handball away. Oh, the tackling today has been sensational. Another holding the ball decision paid. This time it's against Burley, and a brilliant tackle there by Mitch Farmer, who wastes no time. He spears the ball backwards. He didn't hit the target, but it didn't matter as Smalls McCann got the kick over the top there. Nicely done. Here is the ball in the arms of Brown. They're using the corridor. This is coast to coast. Ringwood. The kick goes up towards centre half back. Nicely done there by the big man in. Savoury got the handball away to Evans. He'll this way, that way, use the corridor as well. I was going to say they've going the fastest way both sides, but the siren sounds only 24.5 minute mark of this third term. It has a siren sound, so a short quarter. And Heathmont didn't trouble the scoreboard there in that third term, which is certainly disappointing for them. 5-5-35 to 7-5-47. It's a 2-goal lead to Ringwood in the Parker Family Cup. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast on the SEN app, 98.1 Radio Eastern and all other social media outlets. We've got 1 quarter to go out here, 30 minutes of the Parker Family Cup, the last one until finals maybe for this season. Stay tuned, we can't wait.
And you're clear, you got 4 minutes.
Only 19 shots from 53 inside 50s, down on clearances and can't lay a tackle. What was the seniors coach going to do? Jono surprised himself and everyone else. The spray he gave the boys at halftime worked. Well, he did finish it by saying he'd shout them a post-game feed and frothies at Eastland if they won. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again? For bumps, breaks or bleeds, be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department. The preferred provider of emergency care to the Eastern Football Netball League, you'll generally experience shorter wait times. You don't need private health, but there is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wanturna.
Decided to go with the mahogany with gold handles on the side and white roses. I think that should look really elegant.
I like how you can see it all.
Tobin Brothers Funerals' latest Memory Maker app gives you more choice than ever before. With the app's newest Build Your Own feature, you can now personalise your own coffin or casket. Choose the design, the colour, the handles, the drapery and flowers to match. Download Tobin Brothers Funerals' Memory Maker app from the App Store or visit tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
There are only 3 things that should be flushed down your toilet: pee, poo and paper. Some wet wipes and antibacterial wipes say that you can flush them, but you can't. They clog up the toilet and pipes, causing expensive blockages. Save yourself a truckload of trouble. Put your wet wipes in the bin. To learn more, head to the Yarra Valley Water website, yvw.com.au/wet-wipes.
With Bendigo Bank's new Complete Home Loan, you'll be completely taken care of. With a completely awesome rate. Complete offset on fixed and variable loans. And a home loan specialist completely dedicated to you. So if you're not completely sure about the Big Four, search Bendigo Bank Complete Home Loan or head into Bendigo Bank, the better big bank. Lending criteria, terms, conditions, fees and charges apply.
You've all been to funerals of family members or friends, right? Do you start thinking about what you would want at your funeral? It's a bit like when you go to a wedding. At what stage do you start planning?
Have an open and honest conversation with your loved ones. Celebrate your life the way you want, like I did with a fixed price funeral plan from Tobin Brothers Funerals. The price doesn't change and your life will be celebrated your way. Find out more at tobinbrothers.com.au. Tobin Brothers Funerals, celebrating lives.
1 minute.
Sprained your ankle, bursting through the banner, broke a finger, high-fiving the ruckman, or did you run into the goal post again?
No, just letting you know, no break until the very end at 55.
Hartman.
Going to be out at 56 on the dot. There's no more breaks on my schedule here, sir.
There is an out-of-pocket fee. Be seen sooner. Close to home at Knox Private 24/7 Emergency Department, 262 Mountain Highway, Wantirna.
The senior coach has taken the team to Eastland for a post-game feed. If only they had this kind of teamwork on the field. They've just ordered starters to share, plus frothies for the whole table. And now Steve-O's chucked a prawn to Macca. He circled back. Yes! Straight into his pie hole. You beauty! Good form, boys. For all of life and footy's little moments, there's Eastland. Proud sponsors of the EFL. Eastland. Live real.
Let's head back and go local for your footy.
Mike's on.
Welcome back to Jubilee Park, ladies and gentlemen, for the Parker Family Cup here, and it's Ringwood 7-5-47 leading Heathmont 5-5-35, and we expect this one to go right down to the wire. And quickly, let's jump around the grounds. And in Premier Division, Rowville 8-13-61 lead North Ringwood 7-7-49 out there at Seabeck Oval, and Noble Park have hit the front against Balwyn. So Balwyn led 67-9 at one point. It's now 68-67, and Vermont leads South Croydon 79-64. Other scores coming through on Twitter is Whitehorse are trailing Eastbourne by about 10 goals. And thank you to Spider Lee, who's been sending some scores in as well.
Thank you,
and
Spider.
at the moment, Doncaster East 4-10-34 lead Berwick 2-4-16. So both teams really struggling to find the goals out there at Edwin Flack. In Division 1, looks like Murrabak are going to get a comfortable win over Lewerdale. Park Orchards the same over Upper Gully. And the other 3 games are relatively comfortable for Wantirna South and East Ringwood, as well as Montrose, as we go down to Jared Beanland with Nick Rutley.
I'm with Nick Rutley here. Nick, what's going to be changing this final quarter?
Matty Fodier's not going to change. He's going to keep sending you to me because he knows I'll give you an interview. It's a really good game of footy. We're going to have a crack. We've been tested. They're a really good footy team, and I'm glad that we've been tested. So we have a crack at it and see how we played out.
You guys needed to be more patient in that third quarter. Is that going to change?
I reckon it needs to change. I reckon they defended us when we were a bit too patient, so we need to play a bit more play on and get the ball in chaos style.
Thank you very much.
Well, Ruts is just saying what me and Brash are saying. So if Davo wants to sidle back up here and we'll head down to Heathmont.
Davo looks better in black.
Oh, absolutely. And well, he's just telling them what Brash and I've been saying. So he's clearly got an earpiece in. Division 2 scores. Obviously, this one, as we know, 47-35 Ringwood. The Basin lead Knox comfortably by 41 points. Templestowe are in front of Mulgrave by 19.
Oh, come on, Tempe.
So they might be able to break the duck in 2021. South Belgrave comfortably in front of Baronia. In Division 3, as I said, East Burwood comfortable leaders by 60 points. Fair Park Trail by 28. Donvale lead Waverley Blues by 10 points, and Scoresby lead Glen Waverley by 8 points. So could we see a second draw for those two teams in 2021 against each other? Churnside 80 to Croydon North 38. Forest Hill lead by 61 over Nunawading. Coldstream lead by 78 over Kilsyth, and Surrey Park comfortably leading Sylvan.
Brilliantly done there, Matt, as it comes out now. Collier at the back of the square, switches it out towards the scoreboard side. Trapping it nicely that time there was Stagg. He's got the antlers out as he kicks it up towards Hill, who takes the mark across the half-forward line. Tips it over the top, and just did enough there as Mitch Jackson takes the mark. He's too far out to score, though. He's going to go in towards the Farmer direction. It was ill-directed in the end as it comes out in the Callanan direction. Got a little handball away. This is okay. There has been a whistle, and it was a very late call for a boundary throw-in. Speaking of the boundary, let's cross down there to Brett Beston.
Thanks, BWS. Just over at the Ringwood huddle, Brett Rose pretty happy as you'd expect. He's happy with the midfield stoppages. He believes they're going well with contested positions. Delighted with the work of the back six, and really all he's looking for in this last quarter is just to keep on with the work rate and just go to the end.
Well, they've stolen it from the stoppage. A kick goes towards the top of the goal square. It's an up and under kick. Savoury was there, and straight into the arms of Mitch Farmer. It goes, I'll take a gift if you do not mind. And I tell you what, that's going to be a telling goal in the context of this game. 8-5-53 and to 5-5-35. And I'll tell you what, that's just where you just get lucks of fortune sometimes, and it works out that way.
He got 2 fists to it, Savoury, so you could argue his mark. But if you are going to spoil, look, it's clearly a mistake, but you're going to get it somewhere away from the one attacker in that position.
More scores?
More scores. Baldwin are now in front, so 11-8-74 to 10-10-70 at three-quarter time. So a ripping game out there at Cherry Road. And Bayswater and Montrose all tied up, 7-10-52 Bayswater, Montrose 8-4-52.
Holy dooly.
Good round of footy to bring us back.
Evans versus Jordan who goes off the ground after it fell under his feet. He goes towards Burmeister at centre forward, but they play it out to Savoury to Heathmont as they take possession. Wider kick on the bounce. Burley Joel has got it in defensive 50 area. His chip kick finds the other Burley in Ryan. So Ryan, defensive 50, he might go back to Burley, but he's going to go across to Langdon. Langdon finds himself wide open on the grandstand side of Jubilee Park. His short pass is spot on to Quirk, who led up, and now another pass will just be beautifully positioned in front of the eyes, and taking it is Ryan Young. Young's going to do another pass to Merlino, who doesn't have to think about it, takes it in front of himself, and Hill's got it half forward, so it's nice and deliberate, but it's very slow, and they see a lot of black and white setting up a wall. Jordan punches it to ground level. Kicking off the ground there was Davidson. Didn't get through the pack of players, and Ringwood are able to get themselves out of defence with a quick kick, but forming underneath the ball is Burley, and he takes the mark forward of centre circle. He runs, he gets onto his left boot and puts a long ball in. Jordanoff comes in over the top, goes the big punch, gets in the hands of Collier. Collier shares it out to the running teammate, and it's now Cairns finding his teammate at half back, and they're starting to connect well is George. It was well-connected play, and it goes further out wide. Ringwood going forward. It's now Jackson at the 50. He's got men running into open space. Nice. Bouncing ball. It just won't find Burmeister. That's Mitch Farmer. And Mitch Farmer was dejected as it bounced in front of him in the pocket and went out of bounds.
I don't think Ringwood would be all that disappointed to see Ringwood going across the ground to try and gain yardage, because I feel for Heathmont to get back into this game, they need to take control of the spine and play through the spine to try and create scoring opportunities.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that one. Brash is getting themselves into a bit of trouble here, but trickles over the boundary line and out of bounds.
They look tired, Heathmont. I don't know whether that was just because it's Robbie Savoury and he's quite a big fella, but in terms of up, but they're all labouring at the moment.
To bring the ball back in, it's 30 metres out.
If Ringwood kick another one, it's all over she wrote. And I tell you what, they're going to get a shot on goal as well. What a sensational tackle on Burley that was. I tell you what, he's had a good game, Burley, but a couple of times he has been caught out, just trying to do a little bit too much.
So have a look at that tackle by Farmer.
He got a yellow card for the exact same thing before. I thought he was about to get sent off.
So did I.
He only got holding the ball because it was such a ferocious tackle, because I don't reckon he had much prior.
No, but what I'm saying, he got yellow carded for that exact same tackle.
Similar,
Except the players didn't remonstrate, though.
Well,
So
a couple
he's
did,
He's been in a tight competition with his brother for who's kicking the most goals for this year, and he'll come in now and he wants 2, and he squeeze it in, he doesn't, so they both remain on 1 each, and the Heathmont brethren breathe a sigh of relief from their lounge rooms as their boys stay in this contest. 5 minutes gone, 54-35. It's a 19-point lead to the Ringwood side around the ground.
Yeah, Doncaster 6-11-47, Norwood 2-8-20. So that's a big banana skin so far for the Wooders. And Lilydale 9-2-56, coming back into it, but Mooroolbark 14-8-92. You'd suggest they're pretty comfortable.
At least they've kicked a few more goals this week, Lilydale.
Well, more than 4.
Yeah, it's helpful. Grog Squad might make a comeback as it comes out.
They were pretty happy with the rule, I think.
Perkins just kicked it straight into Trent Farmer, but he'll get a second go at it this time.
Holding the man when he went for it again.
The eyes were just going sideways straight away, and they can't afford to do that as well. So Hansen, little quick kick up, and it was a scrappy one. Jordanov, who's been really serviceable today for the Ringwood side, the big man, pops it up, and good kick. And Hill, also a good player, switches it in towards the middle of the ground. Here's a bit of a run. McCann, this way, that way, wants to move it quickly. His kick just didn't have enough purchase on it, and the big man Evans, who's been one of Heathmont's best, takes the mark. He just copped it. He kicked it towards his teammate in Langdon, who got spoiled. I tell you what, he's been given a free kick. That's as Tiggy Touchwood as it gets, Brash.
Oh, yeah, look, we don't want to be taking that sort of thing out of the game, do we?
So Langdon is certainly hanging on to his feathers as it goes out to Isaacs. Takes it. He's had a pretty good game across half-back today. Kicks it up towards the wing position. The sun's going to get in players' faces, but it didn't matter. It didn't trouble Ryan Young.
Want it. That's a play on.
And he almost went on with it. Brash thought it was off.
This is exactly what Nick Rutley didn't want, though.
No.
Like, they're moving it so slow. It's the exact opposite of what he wanted.
Well, they've switched it into the middle, and they've put themselves in a lot of danger here. Burley of the Joel variety slams it on his boot up towards the half-forward line. Nobody's home except Jordanov, who takes another mark across the half-back line.
East Ringwood by 6 goals against Croydon.
Game over there.
It's over.
Grierson on the left this time. He was pushed as he kicked it, but that's okay as it comes out this way, that way. Declan Hill, he's got a bit of class, does Declan Hill. Slams it straight down towards the Evans direction. The big man got down, and then he's running the wrong way. He's doing a bit of circle work there.
How far, umpire?
And the little chip over. This is where they've got to keep running now. Evans gets it back. Jeez, he's had a good game. And he kicks it up towards the half-forward line. He's hit the target to Cunningham, who'll have a shot about 55 metres out. And you play in front, you get the spoils.
He's got the journey.
As he comes up towards his teammate in Joel Burley, who will have a ping. He's still outside the arc. He's not looking too confident.
I reckon he's got it. He's got a booming left foot.
Well, he wasn't confident as he kicks it up towards the hot spot. Who's going to be the big flyer? Brown was over to the back at the fall of ball. Cunningham, nicely done, gets it away. And I think that was Young who kicked it through. It was a banana kick from the one step. And they stay alive, don't they? 13 points is the margin. 8.5 gone here in the final term.
Boundary.
And let's cross down boundary side to Jared Beanland, the Moose.
It's been Joel Burley setting up Heathmont's game from the back line. Nick Rutley moved him back there at three-quarter time. It was part of his address to the players to make sure that they've got the speed from the back line that they need.
Good hands by the experience of Matty Cunningham there. Didn't lose his structure there. Held the tackle and managed to get a nice little slip-through handball to Young, who finished off.
The one thing that Heathmont won't want to continue is Campbell Evans being the distributor of the footy there. He accidentally hit Cunningham on the lead.
And here he goes again, Young, from the centre circle, goes towards the full forward position, but outmarked again.
Smallest
this time was Molino.
So what, he's played well, I reckon, Grierson.
Yeah, Grierson for Ringwood has got the ball and loads up a long kick. And did it get to him on the full?
I think it touched.
It must have been touched by the man on the mark, so it's not a mark to Blythe. And he'll hand it up for ball up. It's half forward still for Heathmont. And Evans did well in that ruck contest, and Young burst forward. But Molino's not the one you want to be kicking a long ball to.
No.
But it is Ringwood from the back of the pack now, kicking half back to half forward, but running with the flight of the ball. Nice mark taken by Gosbell. He's got a short on. It's a dinky kink. It does find his teammate in Burley. Burley gets it to Isaacs. He's off and running from half back. Long ball, long looking for Cunningham. He gets underneath it, goes to ground after the spoil, and the quick kick goes towards Farmer. But Mitch Farmer, he just traps it at ground level and out of bounds.
So the intercept mark over there, it was at Gosbell or maybe Burley, but Gosbell and Burley both had the ball in half back. No movement up the ground from the Heathmont forwards. So that's the defenders are trying to move it quickly, Brush, but they've got no options. Whereas when Ringwood get it, there's blokes running everywhere.
Again, Young was trying to feast on a ruck contest, but it's a kick out of defence by Ringwood. Trent Farmer came in, and it was one of those ones where he put his hip into the marking contest, and the Heathmont player is down, and I think he's down for the count, unfortunately, as Trent Farmer turned his hip in the marking contest, and he got him front on. That's an old-fashioned shirt front. I'm not going to cast aspersions about the problems for Farmer, but
I'd like to see it again.
But it's trouble for the Heathmont player, and we're going to have a 5-minute stop probably because he looks knocked out.
Does he take his eyes off the ball here, Brush?
Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, he did.
Well, once you're airborne, you lose control, and that's where Farmer made a mistake.
And he backed into it too, didn't he?
So there was a front-on contact for the player on the ground. We'll have to find out who that is from a boundary riders.
He's copped the elbow on the way through.
Yeah.
So this is... it's not a momentum killer because Heathmont are just trying to get something going. So in a way, they might be able to compose a bit of, save some energy. And we're at the 11-minute mark. So consider that we've played 11 minutes of this quarter. So however long this takes, there's probably another 15 minutes after it for the quarter. So it's now, thankfully, it's just good news here. It's a good news story that the Heathmont player is then. We'll go boundary side. Jared, you'll know about the player getting to feet now.
Yeah, it is Jake Sheriff. That is the man in question here. He's looking sluggish, but he's up and about at least. But definitely coming from the ground and will probably undergo the concussion test.
Yeah, and with the 20 minutes you've got to stay off, I'd say he's out for the game.
It looks like a good recovery. You know, sometimes when you get up from either feeling groggy or potentially out, he's actually looking quite able to walk with only just a gentle hand to steer him towards the boundary. So there's some good in the way he's walking off by the looks of him. And his team will recompose themselves with ball in hand. Heathmont on the outer side wing. And it's just in front of the scoreboard here at Jubilee Park. We might get that in shot as Ringwood are 8-6-54 leading on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard. Heathmont are 6-5-41.
Nice directing, Gav.
Yeah, well, I'm trying my best here. 13 points, Spielberg. Won't be doing Raiders of the Lost Ark or anything soon, but we'll see how we can get this game going. And the kick does find a leading option. It's Badramov at centre forward, who's quick to get on his right foot. Now dinks himself through the man on the mark on the left, puts it on the left, long into the goal square. Drop mark by Heathmont, but it's a holding decision for the Jets, and they might just get a goal from 10 metres out.
You love the word dink today, but he's been very good, Badramov. He's really impressed me. He's a bit of a right-footed Trent Farmer, for honest, Brash. He's got, he's agile, he's good in the air, and today's kicking's been slightly better, but yeah, he's very, very good today.
We haven't seen Cunningham much before now, but he's really imposing himself for Heathmont, stepping up, and he's shot from 10 metres out. Doesn't trample the goal umpire yet.
Oh, he might pay it.
He's missed.
He's missed it, and the cheers from the Ringwood reserves.
That's a shocker.
Was quite audible. He really tried to steer it, and it's a bad miss to get Heathmont back in the game. They trail by 12 at the 13.5-minute mark of the fourth quarter.
As the ball comes back in now, geez, that's a killer, that one, but they'll get another chance here. Bargeramov.
Especially when the coach is putting down forward for that experience to try and help, Heathmont with a few goals, pinch a few goals.
By Bargeramov, sorry, Brash.
That's all right.
Hill chops it off. Really impressed with Hill today. The kick goes out wide, and now they've got a bit of a run. Here's Cairns, a looping handball over the top to Wack. Wack will want to use the left, and he does. Wobbles it up towards the wing position, making front spot there was Isaacs. Did well to get the 1-2 from his teammate there in Burley, and he ran straight into traffic. Ball spills out, little handball over the top there by Brown. Couldn't stay inside the paint, and we'll have a boundary throw in. So the margin is 12 points out here, 8-6 to 6-6. Clickety-click.
14 and a half minutes gone here in the final term. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast today.
Draws on.
The Parker Family Cup. It's always a great contest as it goes up towards the half-forward line. Now for Ringwood. Kick goes inside forward 50. It bounces favourably for Trent Farmer. This way, that way. A few don't argue, then gets the handball back. He put his teammate in an amazing amount of pressure. Now they might be able to get the turnover. They might make him pay here. Here's Perkins in towards the middle of the ground. That was okay. Quirk gets it across. Now in the arms there of Joel Burley. Inside forward 50 he goes. It didn't have enough on it there for Evans. He had some support there. Bargerov came in and got brought to ground. Geez, that's a good effort to get him to ground. And we will have a ball up 30 metres out, almost directly in front here for the Heathmont Jets. They're peppering. They're definitely peppering the scoreboard as the umpire throws it up. Jordanoff got slung away from the contest and he'll receive the free kick about 20 metres out in his defensive zone.
Heathmont are they're trying to move it on now, Brash, which is much better. It's what they've been struggling to do this whole second half, and you can already see what effect it's having.
Oh, big fly out there by Finn Brown.
But yeah, move it quickly, get it in there, because Ringwood are too good once they set up their defence. You've got to move it quick.
They've still got 10 minutes, I reckon, Heathmont, at least.
Still got to kick 3 goals, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
You guys
or
finished?
1 point with 2 goals.
Cunningham on the right boot. Kicks it out
3
wide.
scores.
Matthew Langdon is 70 metres out from goal. Kicks it in towards the forward pocket. Probably could have squared things up a bit better there. Bargerakov, he hit the deck over the top there. Was Burmeister, who's just sitting on it doing nothing.
One turner South 73, Mitcham 54 at 3/4 time. Baldwin 80, Noble Park 71, 5 minutes into the last, and 3/4 time at Surrey Park. It's Panthers 10-8, 68, leading Sylvan 7-3, 45.
Well, the smother was sensational. Merlina couldn't quite get boot to ball at the last line of defence. It was picked up by Warren. Slams it on his boot. Tries to get it out of that danger zone. It was a good kick in the end, but they've coughed it up. Barging his way through. Van Leeuwen's had a good game. He deserves a goal. Will it hold up? No, it won't. And it comes out, and they've got the numbers. The Redbacks paddling it to advantage and doing a good job clearing it out to that half back line now. It's a 2-on-2 situation at the fall of the ball. Parker came out with it, but he copped it up out wide. On the right boot goes Grierson inside forward 50. Sits it up. Or thereabouts. Evans, he's had such a good game, and the big man dropped what he should have taken. He's thrown it away in the end. Parker came in over the top. Little kick out. It might just word lucks of fortune there as Callanan. Look at the speed of Callanan go. He takes off in the middle. Here they go. Handball over the top. Nicely done there by Grierson. They are off to the races now, the Redbacks. This could be coast-to-coast football. The big kick goes up. Go on. Stagg at the top of the goal square. Couldn't pull it in for the second bite. And Langdon I'm just choking here.
Langdon nearly got holding the ball in defence as he got taken down. The Redback faithful called for holding the ball.
M&Ms.
And it's still Stagg nearly pulled it in as he was the man running towards goal, but he spilled it and the spoil came in late as Finn Brown takes the ruck, gets it down to his teammate. Burley's kicks high to the defensive 50 area. They've got some numbers. Davidson's thereabouts. Now it's his teammate working nicely, and it's a trip. So Molina will give it back to Grierson. So Grierson, he'll go through the middle of Jubilee Park. It's a short pass, but it's hoping for run. And it's Burley. Right, Joel Burley goes from centre half back to full forward. Underneath it again is Cunningham. Ball at ground level from the punch down. Falls in the hands of Isaacs. And it's going to be a free kick to Ringwood in the contest from Cunningham. I didn't see that.
That's just arms locked, wasn't it? Look, I'd love to, if we had a replay, which I'm sure Lee probably did, but he's got a lot of things to do. And that was just arms locked. Brash, I don't think that was a free kick.
No.
So Ringwood have transversed from the opposite side to half forward. They've got an overlap now. Time to assess all options as Burmeister
Have a look at this.
Puts a slipper on it, but he puts it to the right side for a minor score, and that's a handy point for Ringwood. They lead by 13 points, 18.5 minutes gone in this final term.
Besto's been loving the player Jack Blythe today, and in this last 5 minutes his fitness is showed. He was an outlet a couple of times, and that kick landed right on Stagg's chest. Unfortunately for him, he didn't catch it, but Blythe's been very impressive.
Well, Burley went in the barrel, and it might be the right thing to go there because Bajramov goes up towards the half-forward line. It was knocked away, and it felt like time to stop there. He got after it again. Another throw. It comes out now in the arms there of Hansen. Hansen goes and puts it through for a goal, and the game is alive out here at Jubilee Park. That's his second. And on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, as we hit time on his final term, it is Heathmont 7-7, 51-49, and they are trailing by one straight kick. 8-7-55 is the Ringwood side.
I know the barrel, we always say we want to see more of it, but the barrel's worked there because it got it out the back, Gav, and Ringwood couldn't set up their defence because, he's moved it quickly, albeit by one big kick, but they've moved it quickly the last 10 minutes and they've been all over him, Brash, and Hanson's been quiet, but he showed his class there.
He's a smooth mover.
That was a beautiful kick.
Yeah,
he's only had probably 5 touches,
How
but he's
old
kicked
is
2 goals. He's left school in year 11 and he's a first-year landscaper, so I'd say 18 max.
I think he's got a future. His kick, that was beautiful. That was as pure a kick through from 45 out, and it didn't look... It was online and stayed online.
And it is 7 points the margin as well. The score on the screen is incorrect. It's 7-6-48 to 8-7-55.
As Heathmont tried to win another centre clearance just to capitalise on that goal to Hanson, but the free kick went to Ringwood for holding the ball at half forward. It's Farmer underneath it. The punch goes out the back. Parker hands it over the top to Trent Farmer. He's calling the traffic. He's got time. On the left boot, he puts a long ball in. He was calling traffic for a pass, and he said, "I'll just try to kick it myself."
Another
and
one
it's out on the floor.
It's literally been the only thing that's missing from his game for as long as I can remember. He's always been the best player in the comp, and if you can kick straight, he'd be the best player in the league.
Robbie Savoury.
Oh. Yes.
Kicks it to Joel Burley. Pardon me, as he kicks it over the top to brother Ryan as it comes out now on the right boot. Kicks it out of the defensive zone. It was an okay kick, but it hung up for so long in the end, so he had plenty of time there for the Redbacks to run onto it. An Unco-looking kick goes inside forward 50. The big fly that time there by George, whose second effort was sensational, and he'll earn the free kick, George. He'll earn the free kick. He put his head over the football. It was very good play. He had 2 to beat, and the umpires rewarded him.
I think they're complaining the Heathmont fans, but it's incidental, but it's still high.
It was there though.
He's not ducking. He's picking it up.
No.
There's a difference.
Was it high though?
His shoulder went into his
shoulder into shoulder.
Yeah, I know. I can understand what Rob's saying now.
But he's picking up the ball. There's a difference, isn't there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's started his run up from the middle of the ground, and he's 10 metres out.
Nothing wrong with the long run up.
He comes in now, Charlie George, one of several last name, first names today in the park, and he puts it straight through the middle. What a great kick that was, goalpost height, and just a settler there for the Ringwood side as Heathmont have been coming in this final term. 22-minute tick over on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard at 61-42. I think they've just done enough now, the Ringwood side.
Yeah, that'll deflate the Jets. They've had all the running, but again, even though they've had all the running, Brush, they still haven't been able to get numbers where they need them. They've needed to commit a lot of numbers back to then get the running, and that's just the experience of Ringwood. But this quarter probably will go longer, given we had 2 or 3 minutes with no play. So there still might be time, but they're going to have to do everything right.
It's going to get dark pretty soon too.
The nature of time, is it not?
Bedtime, is it?
Not for me. It comes in inside forward 50. Can they get the quick answer and keep this game alive here? Molino got stripped of the football. Probably should have got pinged. Nicely mopped up there by Grierson. Little handball out wide. It was okay, Lang. They've worked in numbers here very well, the Ringwood side.
Andrew.
And they'll hold things up as we head down to Besto and the Moose.
Yeah, it's a bit of a feature, isn't it, of football in these parts as the late afternoon comes, and what you're saying, BWS, it has got quite dark here, and of course the sun's gone down behind the trees, but still very pleasant conditions, lights not on just yet.
Scott Lang on the left. And a good servant of this football club for a long time is Jordanoff. Another one picks it up and just slams it on his boot. He went for percentage play to go up into the forward line, but he has a 2-on-1 situation. It comes out Joel Burley. He's had a great game today, got the ball away, and now in the arms there of Quirk. This way, that way, was indecisive. He's kicked backwards. He's going to hope for a favourable bounce for his teammate there in Langdon, who picked it up and just gave the don't argue. Then the second one, and then he hit the deck and he got done. So he had all the best intentions running onto it. Patrick Burmeister said, "I'll just take off here," and the umpire said, "Not a chance. Give it back to Jimmy Parker to put through a goal in the Parker Family Cup."
And Parker's deserved a goal. He's worked tirelessly up and down this wing. He and Blythe have been very impressive on either wing, and Blythe's probably had more of the footy, but Parker's got some good spots without being rewarded. So hopefully for him, he'll put one through.
In the end, it was the don't argue that let Langdon down.
Well, probably the Quirk kick too.
Yeah.
So Parker.
And he slipped.
Anything else?
It's getting a bit dark, isn't it?
Parker. who's certainly not dark, comes in now. He'll kick from 40 metres.
That's
That's a great kick. It went flat and it went straight. And that is game over out here at Jubilee Park, and the Ringwood fans, they're pretty excited now. They know that they've got this victory, and on the Bendigo Bank scoreboard, it's 10-7-67 to 7-6-48.
That's a sack. It didn't spin at all. It wasn't even a mongrel spin. Oh, it's incredible. He's kicked it 40 metres with no rotations. It's a knuckleball.
It's a goal, and a victory goal too.
Yeah. Well, they'll be celebrating the Parker family trophy.
Probably in old parlance, it was a flat punt.
It's a
flat punt, you reckon? We'll get the place kick out next round.
Boundary.
Let's go boundary side, Brett Beston.
I think it was the angle of the dangle, boys.
As Burley gets it out of the middle for Heathmont, but he goes all down the throat of Lang, who's stood up very well in this game at fullback, and he gets a long kick out, and Ringwood will just soak up the time now as they lead by 19 points. 67 plays 48. 25 minutes gone to final term.
And this scores coming through, Matt?
Yeah, just flicking through. Not many of real note. Noel Park are 16 points behind Baldwin, so that one with 16 minutes gone. So still alive, but looks like it's going the way of the Tigers. Doncaster lead Nord by 14 points. Roeville at home, they're up by 33. I don't know how I got those two numbers confused. Roeville up by 33 points over North Ringwood, 12-17 to 8-8. So the VFL players probably come on in the last quarter there, Brash. Bit of an in-joke we've got running. Vermont up by 13 points over South Croydon, and Doncaster is still leading by 19, but that score hasn't been updated, I'd suspect, for a while out there at Edward Flack.
They'll be winning.
The tightest game in Division 1 was Bayswater and Montrose, which is only being updated on Twitter, unfortunately, at each break. So we'll have to wait till full time for that one. The Basin are up 89 to 19 over Knox, and Templestowe still in front, but that score hasn't updated since three-quarter time. So at the moment, Knox could be in last position should results go this way with percentage swings and so on. South Belgrave comfortably in front of Boronia by 44 points out at Tormore. As Savoury at the throw. Free kick to Ringwood.
He pushed Jackson with a little up tap about 30 metres.
And then Scoresby 8-12-60 leads Glen Waverley 6-9-45, so it looks like a good win for the Magpies. Donvale 8-3-51 leading Waverley Blues 5-5-35, but that hasn't been updated in a while.
They restrict side scoring, don't they?
They do, Donvale. They're very, very good defensively. Ferntree Gully lead by 41 points over Fair Park.
Gav?
Missed.
As Jackson had the shot from in the pocket, this time not on the full in that glorious pocket. It's a minor score, so all in those scores. Ringwood are in the forward line. It was a bit disjointed. Eventually a free kick went to Jackson as Savoury throwed it, and Ringwood minor score in the end, 10-8-68 leading by 20. Heathmont at 7-6-48.
Good England, very good England.
I was trying to rush back to the scoreboard.
At Chertside Park 99 lead Croydon North 46, Nunawading 21 trail Forest Hill 49, but Forest Hill have gone backwards according to that score, so I would hold your horses there. Coldstream 92 lead Kilsyth 14, and it's still 67-46 out at Surrey Park.
14 for Kilsyth?
Yeah, against Coldstream.
Okay.
I wonder what Fritter's on.
McCann kicks it out wide. And that means Wacker will have had a beer for every point they kicked.
Well, I saw him this morning. Actually, did his radio show this morning, Wacker. He was in fine form.
He's a legend. By to bring this ball back in.
The experience of Ringwood, their bigger body strength, the players with a little bit more experience, I think, has just shown out in that in the last half of this contest.
Yeah. As you said, they've ground him into the dust after half time, and Heathmont have just taken the ball. Probably just, as Nick Rutley said, they just moved it too slow.
Yeah.
That is the final siren here in the background. It's Ringwood winning this clash. I'm not sure what round we're in. Is it round 9? 10. There's less games played this year so far. We'll get back to that later. Ringwood 10-8-68 defeated Heathmont 7-6-48 to 20-point victory for Ringwood in the Parker Family Cup. They'll take that, and they'll take the points as they stay near the top of the ladder, and we'll try to get some interviews on the ground with the winning coach and players. But that puts Ringwood...
I think we should try and get one with Tim Burmeister, given it's his 200th game.
Yeah, that'll be a good one, actually. Yep, and Heathmont, that might take them out of the top 4 now that's been renewed, the finals.
No, they'll be safe. They'll be safe. Boronia, South Belgrave, they're still a game ahead of the loser of that one. But definitely, I think what we saw today was we spoke about youth versus maturity in the pre-game show, Brash and Gav, and we saw in that second half that maturity and obviously fitness is going to win out as we cross down to Besto.
Thanks, boys. I got the Victoria's coach Brett Rowe, and Brett, you got there in the end.
Yeah, geez, we had to work for it, didn't we? Yeah, look, it's always pleasing to get those results, but yeah, it was a really good game of footy, and thankfully we got the job done.
Boys felt sort of right through the game that maybe the bigger bodies and also just the experience in your side was going to get over the top, and that's probably how it proved in the end.
Yeah, I think so. I think you could look at probably that. I think the third quarter we seemed to get a lot of control of the footy, and then that last quarter we had good control again. So yeah, probably. Yeah, I think big boys always help at the tight end of games. So and obviously they're still a young team, but yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're pretty right there.
Some of your key components. I mean, I was a big fan today of Jack Blythe's game. I thought he was pretty much close to the best on ground if he wasn't. Some of the other performance. I mean, Harry George was sensational. Trent played well, but his goal kicking was a bit off today.
Yeah, that's what you get with Trent sometimes. We've got him playing in a different role this year. We're not anchoring him at the goal square, so it's been a different role for him. And yeah, he's been absolutely outstanding and correct about Jack Blythe. Like he has this ability to just find space out in the wing. So he plays that role really well, and yeah, he was outstanding.
And really nice to get a win for Timmy in his 200th game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like he's been a great servant of our footy club. Obviously, he's had a few years off to get his body back right, and I think for him to play 200, he's only become the third player in the club's history to play 200 games. So it's a great milestone, and yeah, to get the win, I think it's outstanding.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Well, the besties now, Besto and Rowie down there on Boundary side. Tell you what, it's a good story for Ringwood to win today, Brush, because once again the cup has gone this way than that way. So each year they get to share it off. As the players are still staying out on the ground, Matt, are we having some sort of presentation?
It looks like they're about to do the Parker Cup and some medals. So
best on ground.
It looks like they're going to decide the Nina and Pasadena player of the day for us.
Thank God.
I can see Gav feverishly working away.
Well, I'd probably give.
Can we try and guess it?
I'd go Ryan Burley for Heathmont.
Yeah, I would agree with you there. Joel or Ryan, and one of them. Or maybe Bargemov, but yes.
And I actually thought Jackson was pretty good for 4 quarters.
I've got ticks next to Jackson, Jordanov, Trent Farmer, Jack Blythe, and Parker.
I just thought that with Jack Blythe, he really came into his own more in the second half.
One of those endurance runners, Brash. Once the other guys ran out of gas, he started to come into his own.
Yeah,
it's an interesting game when Ringwood have 10 goals and 10 individual goal kickers. So they shared the load, and people popped up when they needed to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas Heathmont, they look like they ran out of legs halfway through the third quarter, and they try to change the game into a possession game, but if your skills let you down at this level, you'll be scored against.
Yeah, and they came out ballistically in those first 2 quarters, didn't they, Gav? And it worked, but it's a hard thing to maintain, especially against a side like Ringwood. And Heathmont have been doing that. They've burnt sides early, and Ringwood are just a team that's good enough to withstand the pressure and then eventually get them. But I wouldn't write out Heathmont as a challenger. From what we've seen, they've got all the makings of a strong team, don't they, Gav? With 3 handy forwards. Jed Hansen had a quiet game, but still managed to kick 2 goals. The presentation's going on at the moment.
It's a cup.
It's a cup. Is that just Keogh just collecting the cup? Commiserations, guys. We won.
They just hand it back every game. Are they switching? I
think they should just get 2 cups, 1 for each ground or club, and then we'll win it back in the trophy.
No, that's terrible. No.
Well, they hand it over so frequently.
Yeah, but that's all right. You play each other. It's not like you have to travel.
Well, it's a good point. Just throw it up, chuck it in an Uber.
Just don't set
Maybe
up.
Not your delivery driver, but
just don't set up a permanent place for the cabinet position for it, because it seems like it doesn't last as long.
No, exactly
if it's a draw,
perpetual trophy,
and they go 1-1 during the season, should it then be awarded to the side that won by the greatest margin?
Isn't it with the holder? No. It looks like Jack Blythe's been given the award by Heathmont.
Hello, Blythe. There you go, circled on there.
I had him
just thought I'd say.
Oh, look.
Asterisks.
I didn't hear you say Blythe.
Yes, I did. I've got 2 ticks next to him. See, and he plays on the wing. I've also written wing.
He's a 2-tick player.
He's a 2-tick player. And come on then. We're going Ryan Burley, aren't we, for Rose medal? Or is he going outside the box?
Let's see who
I've gone for Evans.
Evans.
What number's outside the box?
Evans.
A prime number.
Evans was number 2.
He was. An even prime number.
Well, the suspense is killing us.
It's a very long...
Besto should go and hold the microphone under
Harry
Isaacs. Yeah, he was good. He was really good.
I will call that out of the box.
Yeah, he was good.
He was good. I wouldn't have personally, but there you go.
I'm happy with that, to be honest. I thought he was excellent. I called it in the last quarter about he was strong about him being across
and he had a good
the
run.
whole day. Yeah.
He did have a good run. And when the coach calls him out for playing such a good game, sometimes the coaches, they just call out the number, but he actually said Harry Isaacs. So I remember that clearly, and that means you've identified someone playing a good game, and it's no surprise he wins.
And Brett Rowe would have done his research as well, so he would have been...
Here's Burmeister getting carried off.
And well deserved too, like we said pre-game. He's been around for, 98 I think that said on their post he first walked through the doors, so
awesome.
To still be going in 2021.
Amazing.
Incredible effort, and hopefully for his sake they do get some success soon.
And as Brett said, only the third player to actually
get there for the club.
I mean, that's a great achievement.
Jared.
So,
have you ever been carried off, Matt?
Me? In pain.
Yeah, on a stretcher. Let's cross down boundary side to Besto.
Got the milestone men, Timothy Burmeister down here. Tim, great win today. Congratulations on your own milestone. You must be thrilled, especially in such a big game, of course, the Parker Family Cup.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, it's always a big game. Heathmont, quite a few years now, they've always been our great rivals and had some ripper contests with them over the years, and they got us early in the year with a really tough game, with a Friday night game with an enormous crowd of a couple of thousand people. So kind of wished we had a few more people here today, but it was good to get a hard-fought win. It's just a really high-pressure game, and eventually we just thought our fitness just worked them over towards the end. But huge contest for it.
200 games. Where does this one rank in the best games that or the best wins you've had?
Oh, this is up there. It was during the week. We were 50-50 on whether this week was going ahead, and I just thought, please, I just want it to be a game at home and against the old rivals as well. So even though despite the no crowd, I was just happy enough that it was at home and against a rival club, and got to play with my younger brother Paddy as well. So that was really special moment.
Bonus. Boys upstairs have got some questions. Where you go, guys?
Tim, it's Benwar and Smith here, mate. Congratulations on the milestone.
Thank you very much.
What's the go with the jumper today, mate? A bit dyslexic. You go on the 13 instead of the 31.
I actually spoke to our jumper manager, and I was wondering why my number 31 wasn't on top of my bag, and turns out about a month ago when we played Baronia, there was a bit of a melee and it was ripped down the middle, and someone forgot to stitch it up. So
bugger.
13 was our go. So sorry for the miscommunication. I should have let you boys know.
Mate, we always know it's you playing out there. That's for sure. What's it been like having a few weeks off when the team's on a bit of momentum and going well, and then all of a sudden you just have to stop? How do you guys handle that?
We actually. It was pretty much about 4 weeks off, but we actually had a really big blowout on last Saturday. Had a training from about 9:30 for about 2.5 hours, and almost felt like a game. So that sort of blew out a fair bit of the cobwebs, and then once we got to Tuesday and Thursday's training this week, it seemed a lot more regular, but it honestly feels like the start of a season again. So a little bit of a weird feeling, but a lot of fresh legs, and probably thought that's why it was such a hot footy early. Everyone from both sides was just eager to get out there and get amongst it.
Tim, obviously with the changing playing conditions for the rest of the season, obviously now trying to bank these wins now early, especially in the next couple of weeks, can really set up the season, because it's going to get pretty cutthroat, obviously knowing what the final situation's going to be.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, look, we're just... I don't want to pull out any cliches, but 1 week at a time. I mean, as far as I know, the finals have been for 2 weeks. Sorry, the boys are just calling me over. Finals are only 2 weeks now from what I know. I know that could change very quickly. So, every week you just got to get the win, got to get the 4 points on the board, and look at towards the back end of the year, it's so even between about 4 or 5 teams up the top, so every game's pretty crucial.
One of the things I was impressed with
the boys are calling him over, Brash.
Well,
last question, boys. Sorry, I got to head in.
Well, what does it mean to play 200 games for Ringwood and be the third person to achieve that milestone? It must be a special thing for you.
Yeah, hugely special. Got a couple of great text messages this morning. One from the great Cameron Smooth Parker and Brady Cairns, the other two guys who played their 200 plus games for the club. So to be be in a elite company with them is hugely special. So a moment I'll treasure for a long time.
Congratulations, enjoy the beers, and we'll no doubt catch up for the rest of the year.
Thanks a lot, gents. Cheers. Thank you.
What a superstar he is, Timmy Burmeister, a stalwart of the Ringwood Football Club and a favourite son, and the boys can go, oh, thank God we can go inside now, get out of the cold and sneak a beer in or two, no doubt about that. Great job there by Besto. We'll no doubt get the song as well as they make their way into the room, the boys down there. And, any more final scores coming through around the grounds?
Rapidly. Just writing them down. So we've got a couple of upsets. Bayswater have knocked off Montrose. So Montrose, after knocking off Croydon, have gone down to Bayswater, which means...
I'll take that one as well.
Well, good on you, Brash. Well done, mate. It's all a big swinging contest, is it, up here?
I'm marking it on the back of the stand.
Yeah, okay. So 71 to 68 there. Rowville, as I said earlier, won by 46 points over over North Ringwood, sorry. Borwin, in the end, they held off. Noah Park expended all their energy. Sorry. Now that the song is done, so Borwin have held off a Noble Park challenge. Noble Park spent their energy getting back into the game. So Borwin 17-11, 1-13 over Noble Park, 11-12, 78. And then Doncaster 6-14-50 have beaten Norwood. Sorry, 7-14-56 have beaten Norwood 5-13-43.
Oh,
so,
well done, Donny.
So Donny, 2 wins in a row. That's a massive loss for Norwood. So over previous years, Norwood's big thing is they've beaten the odd big team like a Vermont or a South Croydon, and then lost to games like this and have missed the finals. And for Marty Passman, that's a massive loss.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure you'll be telling Marty about that too.
I'm sure I'll get the message in T minus and 8 reasons why Doncaster aren't as bad as everyone said. So we've got a few more flying in. Obviously, this one here, East Bell comfortable winners, 105 to 63. Some of these scores, look, don't take them as gospel, but I'm assuming they're final. Donvale 64 defeated Waverley Blues 43. So they've done the double over the Waverley Blues, Donvale, and that's twice they've kept the free-flowing Blues brash under 10 goals.
Yep.
And Scoresby look like they've got the job done over Glen Waverley by 14 points. So a good win for the Magpies, which keeps them.
Too.
I think that'll push them into the 4. Waverley Blues will fall to 5th, and Ferntree Gully have beaten Fair Park by 43 points. Mulgrave and Templestowe, if it is the final score, Templestowe are off the mark. 86 to 82 is the score that's currently on the Sports TG. We will wait a couple more minutes before locking that in. And then in Division 4, Churnside Park by 90 points over Croydon North, Forest Hill by 60 over Nunawading, and Coldstream have won by 126 over Kilsyth.
Yeah, well, a lot of those results.
Vermont score just coming in. They've kept South Croydon goalless. No, not just goalless, scoreless in the last quarter. 17-8, 110 to South Croydon 11-6, 72.
Yeah, that's a big win by Vermont there.
That's a massive win. We had South Croydon as the benchmark.
Yeah, we did.
I guess you never put away Vermont. They're back to the top of the perch.
No, and like I said, you can only go by what you see. And like I said,
is that because you gave them insight when you were down there last game, Brash? They got you up and had a chat, apparently, giving all the secrets away.
Well, yeah, sort of.
Look how chuffed he is.
Yeah, well,
it's better than when he's shattered, because we've seen him shattered and it's not a happy sight.
We look like we've got an updated one from Edward Flack. Now,
I've just asked for that too.
Now, we've got scores. We don't know which team's which because they've alternated during the day.
I've gone to Pete Sowersby.
Okay, so one score is 4-5-29. At the moment, it's for Berwick, and the other score is 6-15-51. Now, they very well could swap over. But at the moment, Doncaster East have won by 22 points.
So what have you got there?
I've just sent Pete a text saying score, mate, question mark.
Mooroolbark have pumped Lilydale for the second time this year. 10-5-65 Lilydale. Mooroolbark 21-12, 138. So good win by the Mustangs.
Yeah, they needed it, didn't they?
The break came at a good time for them. Got some players back on the track.
Yep.
And yeah, again, with that top 4, it's making Division 1 a lot more interesting because we thought the top 5 was done and dusted. Now it's 4. It's back all to play for again.
I think the Croydon East Ringwood game is significant this afternoon.
Well, East Ringwood, we would assume, have definitely 71. We're just waiting on a final score. They're up by 6 goals at three-quarter time. The Basin, 70 points over Knox was the last score we've got, so we can comfortably assume they've won. It's just a matter of how much. And South Belgrave the same over Boronia. So a couple of interesting scores there. So the Basin will go equal top with Ringwood. It'll all be down to percentage, which you'd suggest the Basin might have jumped them after today. And Boronia now will be a game outside the top 4 with South Belgrave getting the win over them, and that's a big win for South Belgrave. And then as we move into 3rd division, as we said, so Waverley Blues will drop to 5th if my maths is correct. Scoresby will go to 4th and Donvale 3rd. Ferntree Gully will go top while Warrandyte had the bye, and we'll finish 2nd. And we might have an interview in a second by the sounds of it, or from what I'm getting directed by League Green of EFNL Media, and Churnside will go 4th because Sylvan look to have lost to Surrey Park.
Well, I think Ferntree Gully, they've gone really well this year too.
They have.
Flying under the radar, I think.
Yeah, very good. And I thought we're going to head back down Boundary side because we've got Jared Beanland down there with the man of the match today, as I selected as well. I'll throw that one in. Jack Blythe. Over to you, boys.
Yeah, I think we all did. VW is Jack Blythe. Jack, congratulations on your own game. Fantastic performance and a pretty enjoyable game to play in.
Yeah, it's just good to be back out there a few weeks off. Obviously, it makes you sort of appreciate what you've got out here, and to be able to run out on the ground again today, get the win for Worm in his 200th game was a pretty good day all round.
You were saying just as we walked out to the middle, it was almost like starting the season over again.
Yeah, I mean, not often you have three or 4 weeks off in the middle of the season, so it's to sort of recharge the batteries and then sort of build up again to get into the second half of the season and hopefully in a good finals campaign.
Boys, up to you.
Jack, it's BWS here, mate. There's a really healthy rivalry between these two clubs. We watch the games and we've watched plenty of them, but there's a mutual respect that you guys have for both each other, which is really evident out on the park as well. It's not like a pure, hatred rivalry or anything. It's you want to win, but there's a respect there as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a couple of minutes that separates the two clubs, so it is, like you said, a massive rivalry, and I think every time we play against them for the Parker Cup, it's a pretty big build-up during the week. Obviously, a little bit more disjointed this week, unable to sort of ramp it up as much as we normally would, but I think the guys know every time you come up against Heathmont, you know the sort of game you're going to get, and you know they're always going to come for it, and credit to them. They're a good side, good club, and enjoy playing against them, that's for sure.
Where did the nickname Worm come from for Timmy?
To be honest, mate, I'm not too sure. You should have asked him during his interview. That was a little bit before my time, but...
I hadn't heard it before. If I had have known it, we would have been calling him Worm for ages.
We'll have to get him back out here.
So, Jack, in the second half, it seemed like the switch was on. You might have sensed they were tired, and they came through your wing a lot. Was that a deliberate call-out from Brett Rowe, or was it something that just got organic from noticing that they were tiring a little bit?
I mean, to be fair to the other, to Heathmont boys, it's a massive ground out here, so the switch is almost always on, no matter what's happening. But I don't necessarily think it was that they were just sort of tiring, but that's sort of part of our game plan. Is we always sort of, as a lot of other clubs do, sort of try and comes in one way, go out the other, and try and open them up on the outer side there. So obviously, it started to open up in the in the second half. Massive ground. It always sort of happens that way. So yeah.
Jack, just take us into the mind of a local footballer. Like you said, this has been a season like no other, and obviously you've worked yourself into fitness, with continuity for six rounds, and then all of a sudden you got a break. How do you handle it mentally and physically?
Well, to be honest, for me, the break came at a pretty good time. The body was starting to tire a little bit, so I was just saying to the guys on the way out here that it was sort of good to have sort of a week off and sort of recharge the batteries a little bit and then slowly start to build into it. So, I mean, there's pros and cons, but you've got to try and stay positive and deal with the hand that you've been dealt. So I think the guys have handled it pretty well, and we're just happy to be back out here to be able to run out on the ground again.
And obviously with the restrictions, what sort of work were the players doing, during that sabbatical? What sort of, work?
I mean, obviously it was pretty limited with what we were able to do as a collective group. I know a lot of the guys were able to get out and have a kick of the footy, have a run around in, only like pairs or very small groups, and only the local grounds when it was obviously only like a 5K radius. So I mean, for me, I was able to just sort of get down to the local oval and have a run around a few times, but that was about it before we were able to get back all together as a group.
Jack, your fellow wingman Jubilee Parker, he probably got you got a lot of the footy today, but he did some great work and probably didn't get the just rewards. Is he someone to keep an eye on for us?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's a young guy. He's an awesome player, and he's got a tank like no other. So he just goes all day, and it's I don't really see him too much during the day because he's out on one side and I stay out on mine. But definitely keeping an eye on him.
What Matt means, Jack, is he thought that he should have got the medal, not you.
No, I said that James got into good spots. If I've got two,
he didn't get the just reward. What does that mean?
As in he worked hard and didn't get the ball. No, Jack's a very handy sportsman, as you'd know, Ben. But if you keep abreast of it. But well done today, mate. Great performance. Well done on your medal. Well done on another win, and hopefully for your sake they keep coming.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, guys.
Jack Blythe there,
great
winner
stuff.
of the Best on Ground.
Yeah, man.
Look at Besto. I reckon Besto's found another favourite. Jess Bolton's he's fallen off the radar. He's a big fan of Blythe all day.
Besto is nailing the boundary riding position today. He's doing a sensational job.
And what about the Moose riding shotgun?
Besto, it's Besto and the Moose.
Giving me something to do during the week. A few more scores popping through. So all scores in Premier are confirmed. So as we said, Roval have won comfortably. Baldwin the same. Vermont the same over South Croydon. Doncaster over Norwood. And Donny East over Berwick. So what we've got is we've got 3 teams on 5 and 1. Vermont, South Croydon, Noble Park. We've then got Norwood, Blackburn and Baldwin all on 3 wins. So a bit of a gap between the top 3 and the rest. And then we've got 4 sides on 2 wins. Donny East, Berwick, Roval and Doncaster. And North Ringwood on just the 1. So the Saints, for all their efforts, Brash, down there. So Bayswater defeated Montrose, which is a big win for them. We think East Ringwood have won. We just don't know by how much. We assume Park Orchards will have won as well after they were up by 10 goals at half-time. And then confirmed scores, Mooroolbark by what looks to be 73 points over Lilydale, and Wanturna South have defeated Mitcham by 29 or 39, sorry. So that'll mean the ladder there. Park Orchard and East Ringwood will go 2 games clear of Mooroolbark and Croydon, who are 3rd and 4th. Mitcham, Montrose and Wanty South all on 4 wins, whilst Bayswater will be on 3, 2 games clear of Lilydale and Upper Gully, which means that we're looking at those 2 teams look like they're going to be playing down a division next year, Lilydale and Upper Gully. Confirmed results from Division 2. Again, I wouldn't take these as all gospel, but the margins seem to suggest we've got some winners. So the Basin have defeated Knox, as we said, will go equal top with Ringwood, who defeated Heathmont. South Belgrade with pumped Baronia, 107-30. So a big win for the Saints. They'll jump into probably 3rd. Massive. They've got a great percentage, the Saints, so they'll jump into 3rd. Yep, they did. They'll jump into 3rd. Heathmont will go 4th. Baronia 5th. Mulgrave will be 6th, and Templestowe have defeated Mulgrave though by 4 points. We think 13-8 to 12-10. We think Knox's percentage is still enough for Templestowe to be on the bottom, but good. I think that means only Nunawading hasn't won a game this year, so that's great for the competition. In Division 3, Scoresby 14-point winners over Glen Waverley. Eastfield comfortable winners by 42 points.
Fair Park haven't won one.
No, they haven't. There we go. So 2 sides. So we're rooting for them for the remainder of the year. Eastfield 42 points over White Horse. Donvale 21 points over Waverley Blues, and Ferntree, as we said, over Fair Park. So Ferntree are on top. Then it'll be Donvale and Warrandyte on 5 wins apiece. Then Scoresby on 4.5, followed by the Waverley Blues. And then I think there's a bit of a gap down to Glen Waverley. And then in Division 4, Chirnside will jump into the 4 after their 90-point win over Croydon North. Forest Hill will remain in 2nd. Coldstream out on top, undefeated. And Surrey Park will hold 3rd spot, while Sylvan will drop out of the 4.
Do you think, Matt, with...
Good job, Matt.
Do you think with Nunawading only losing by 60 points, Forest Hills will be a little bit upset that they're not going to get as much percentage as what others might get?
They're not multiples, they're only one hill as well.
Yeah.
It comes back to that point we talked about how Trent Martin was saying Sylvan were resting those older bodies against teams they should beat comfortably. So maybe Justin Cicluna, back after a couple of weeks off, a few older blokes might have been a bit rusty getting out of bed this morning, and they've got the job done. At the moment for Forest Hill, it looks like they're going to make the finals.
And we still can't get out there. COVID hits, and we haven't been there.
And the other thing as well now, with the straight knockout, Brush, Coldstream can win as many games as they want. They don't get anything for it.
No.
So with straight knockout finals...
so what's the go?
Straight knockout finals, 1v4, 2v3. So all Coldy are playing for is to play 4th. So for Forest Hill, the percentage now doesn't matter given they've got enough wins on the board, you'd suggest. Its percentage is going to matter for Sylvan and Chirnside, who are battling for 4th.
Yep.
And the same in those other divisions. So like we said, Division 3 percentage, Waverley Blues have got it, but Scoresby have got that extra half a game from the draw, which might come in handy. In Division 2, South Belgrave have definitely got the percentage. They keep putting on big scores, so if they win enough games, they won't be nudged out by a percentage of an opposition. And then in Division 1, it looks like that top 4 looks set. I think Mitcham, Montrose and Monty South, they're not going to be able to squeeze into a 4. Unfortunately, Mooroolbark with their players back look too good.
So for the listeners that didn't hear at the start of the broadcast today, the changes that are happening with the finals.
So the changes that are happening with the finals, if I can just where have I got myself? It might be in my rubbish bin. I might have thrown it out. Here we have. So the changes that have happened. So the 2 games that we missed will be replayed, except in Division 2 and Division 4. So we'll only replay one of them. So in Premier Division, round 7 and 8 will be played after round 18. In Division 1 and 3, round 8 and 9 will be played after round 18. And in Division 2, round 8 will be played after round 18. And Division 4, round 7 will be played after round 16. So it will look a bit weird, but it's basically just an extra round on the end to make up as many home and away games as we can.
So the season gets pushed out?
No, finals are cut to 2 weeks. 1v4 is the finals and 2v3 straight knockout, and the rationale is that we wanted to make sure the home and away season had as much integrity as possible, given that there's a double relegation, a close relegation race in Premier, a close relegation race in Division 3. You don't want clubs going down having missed a couple of games.
What about grand finals? When will they be on?
Grand final dates have not changed, so they'll be the same
So
dates.
for top 5, how does that look then?
It's a top 4. All divisions are top 4.
Oh, right. Okay, so that explains that. Yeah.
So that'll be why your Mitchams, your Montrose and your Wanty Souths have to be pretty perfect from now to make a top 4. And then in terms of, that was why it was such a big win for Baldwin today, because they're now on the same points as 4th place Norwood. Also, they might be 1 game behind Norwood, actually. Might have 4 wins. But yeah, it's a lot closer for them. If they'd lost today, Baldwin, you could have almost put a line through them.
Yeah, it's certainly going to get interesting, isn't it, as we start to wrap things up here. And we'll thank our boundary riders who've done a sensational job today, who've given away the mic. They were doing some fine old tuning down boundary side as they were making their way back up here. And we have it on camera. Thanks very much to Brett Beston and Jared Beanland. Wayne Brasher, love seeing your face back at the footy, mate. It's good to be back, isn't it?
It is, mate.
And of course, Gab Casey is the ghost of season 2021. It's great to have you back riding shotgun, my friend.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back at the footy.
Certainly is. To Leroy Green from LKLM Media, to Bruce Press from the Loft Productions, and our fearless leader Matt Fody, who's done a great job leading the team today. It's out at Jubilee Park. It was the Parker Family Cup today, and this time it was won by the home side. 1 apiece. They've won it this year. Heathmont had it early in the piece. Ringwood got it today. It's round 10. It's round 11 next week, and it's EFL Sunday tomorrow. It's footy's back, baby. Have a great night.
Thanks for that. You're all clear.